Shalom. Waza'at hamatzah. Ha'chaim wa hamashpatim. Ashar Ya'oh Allah echam. Lalamad atcham. Lachashot ba'aratz ashar atam. Chabarim shema larashat ha. Lamayin der at Ya'oh Allah echa. Lashmar at chachakate wa matzoteo. Ashar nachem matzocha. Ata wabancha. Wabanbancha. Cha yamecha ech. Walma yarachon yamecha. Washamarta Yahushua, Washamarta, Lachashot Ashar Ye Tab Lacha, Washar Tarbon Ma'at, Cha Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala E Abate Chalacha, Aratz Zabath Salab Wadabash, Shema Ya'o Shar'al, Ya'o Ala Eno Ya'o Achad, Wa'abta At Ya'o Ala Echa, Bachal Lababcha, Wabachal Napashcha, Wabachal Ma'atcha, Waheo Hadabarim Ha'ala, Ashar Nachem Atzocha, Hayom Bachal Lababcha. Washanata labanecha, wadbarta bamba shabatcha babeitcha wabalachatcha, badarach wabashachabcha wabakomcha, wakasharta laot rayarcha, wahel tatzapad ben reinecha, wachatata ra mazazot becha wabasharecha. Shalom. Waza'at hamatzah. Came Hamashpatim. Ashat Ya'oh Allah Echam. Lalamad Atcham. Lachashot Ba'arat Ashar Atam. Chabarim Shema Larashatha. Lamain Ther At Ya'oh Allah Echa. Lashamar At Chakateo wa Matzoteo. Ashar Anachem Matzocha. Ata Wabancha. Wabanbancha. Cha Yemechecha. Walamaya Arachonia Mecha. Washamarta Ya'oh Shar'al. Washamarta. Lachashot Ashar Ye Tablacha. Wa Ashar Darabo Ma'ad. Cha Ashar Dabar Ya'oh Allah E Abatecha Lacha. Aratz Zabat Chalab Wadabash. Shema Ya'oh Shar'al. Ya'oh Allah Eno Ya'oh Achad. Wa'ab Da'at Ya'oh Allah Echa. B'chol Labavcha W'b'chol Napashcha W'b'chol Ma'adcha. Waheo Hadabarim Hala. Ashar Anachem Matzocha. Hayom Chol Labavcha. Washanata Labanecha. Wadabarta Bam Bashbatcha Babeitcha W'balachatcha. Badarach Wabashachabcha Wabakomcha. Wakasharta Laoth Royadcha. Waheo Latatpad Ben Chinecha. Wachatata Ra Mazhozot Beitcha Wabasharecha.
Shabbat Shalom. Waza'at hamatzah. Hachachem hamaspatim. Ashar Ya'oh Allah Echa. Lamad Atcham. Agashot ba'aratz ashar atam. Habarim shema larashatha. Lamayin der Ya'oh Allah Echa. Ashamar Akol Chakateo. Umatzoteo. Shara Nachim Matzocha. Ata wabanka. Call you make it Echa. Lamanya Rahoni Mecha, Washamaita Ya'oh Shar'al, Washamarta Lakshop Sharyeta Baha, Wa Ashar Darabo Ma'at, Ka Ashar Dabar Ya'oh Ala'i, Abate Halaha, Ratzibachla Badabash. Shema Ya'oh Shar'al, Ya'oh Ala'i no Ya'oh Had, Wa Abda Ya'oh Ala'iha, Chalababka, Wabahana Pashka, Wabahama Adka. Waheo Hadarim Hala Ashar Anachem Matzocha Hayum Chalababka Washanata Labanecha Wadabarta Ba Ha-Shabath Babeka Babalacha Para Babashkaka Babakonga Bakshata Oko Yaga Waheo Latat Bain Hinik Wahadata Muhal Mazazo Beka Wabashrika.
Shabbat Shalom. Wa'at hamatzot ha'chatim ha'mashpatim ashar Ya'oh ala echam. Lalamad atcham. Lagashot ba'arat ashar acham. Habarim shema larashatha. Lamayin der at Ya'oh ala echa. La shemar atcha. Kakateo wa matzateo. Ashar anachem matzocha. Ata wabanka wabanbanka. Kal Yemei Kayeka, Walamayim Ya'arachon Yemeika, Wa Shemaita Ya'osharal, Wa Shemaita La Chashot Ashar Yitzchad Laka, Wa Ashar Darabon Ma'ad, Ha-Ashar Zachar-Ya'oh Ala'i, Abadeka Laka, Arat Zavat Halab Wadabash, Shema Ya'o Sharal, Ya'o Ala'ino, Ya'o Aka, Wa Aba'ath Ya'o Ala'eka, Bakal Labaka, Wa Bakal Natashka, Wa Bakal Ma'ata, Wa Hail Hadabarim, Ha'ala Ashar Anakhi Masoka, Hayom Kal Labaka, Wa Shananta Labaneta, Wa Rabarta Bam, Wa Shabaka, Babeta, Wa Balakaka, Barak, Wa Shakata, Wa Bakonka, Wa Kasharta Laos Ka Yata, Wa Hail La Tatapathin, Hineka, Wakatata Ka Mazozo Feta Rabbi Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Waza'at Hamatzo HaChakim Wahamashpatim Ashar So Ya'o Allah Echam Lamad Atcham Lachashot Ba'arat Ashar Adam Chabarim Shema Larashatha Lamain Ber At Ya'o Allah Echa Lashamar Atcha Hakadeo Wamatzodeo Ashar Anake Matzocha Ata Wabancha Wabanbancha Cha Yemei Che'echa Walamain Ya'arachon Yemecha Washamaita Ya'o Shar'ah, Washamarta La Chashot Ashar Yetab Lecha. Washar Tarabon Ma'ad, Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e Abatecha Lecha, Arat Zabat Chala Badabash. Shema Ya'o Shar'ah, Ya'o Ala'eno, Ya'o Achad. Wa Abda'at Ya'o Ala'echa, B'chol Lababcha, Wa B'chol Napashcha, Wa B'chol Ma'adcha. Wa Heo Hadabarim Ha'ala Ashar Anake Matzocha, Hayom B'chol Lababcha. Wa Shananta Labanecha, Wa Dabarta Bam Bashabatcha, Babetcha, Wa Balachatcha Badarach, Wa Bashachabcha, Wa Bakomcha. Wa Kasharta Laot Achal Yadcha. Wa Heo Latatapat Bein Uchenecha, Wa Chatabta Ra Mazozot Betcha, Wa Basharecha.
Shabbat Shalom. Waza'at Hamatzoch Hakakim Wahamashpatim Ashar Tzoch Ya'o Alaechem Lalamad Adham Lagashot Ba'aratz Ashar Atam Kabarim Shema Larashatcha Lamainter Ad Ya'o Alaecha Lashamar Ad Hol Hakateo Wamatzoteo Ashar Anachem Atzocha Ata Wabancha Wabambancha Hol Yamei Kreecha Walamain Yarahon Yamecha Wa Shamaita Ya'o Shar'ah Wa Shamarta Lagashot Ashar Yeto Blaha, Wa Ashar Tarabon Ma'ad, Ha-Shar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e Abatecha, Laha Arat Zabat Chalab Wadabash, Shema Ya'o Shar'a, Ya'o Ala'eno, Ya'o Achad, Wa Abda At Ya'o Ala'echa, Bahal Lababcha, Wa Bahal Napashcha, Wa Bahal Ma'adcha, Wa Heo Hadabarim, Ha'ala Ashar Anache Matzocha, Hayom Kal Lababcha. Wa Shananta Labanecha, Wa Dabartabam, Bashabatcha, Babetcha, Wa Balahadcha. Dabarach, Wa Bashahabcha, Wa Bakomcha, Wa Kasharta Laod Kal Yadcha, Wa Heo La Tatapat Bein, Genecha, Wa Hatata Kal Mazozot, Betcha, Wa Basharicha. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Waza'at Hamatzoch HaChachem Wahamashpatim Ashar Tzoch Ya'o Alaechem Lalamad Atchem Lachashoth Ba'aratz Ashar Atam Rabarim Shama Larashatcha Lamain Ther Ath Ya'o Alaecha Lashamar Ath Kol Chakateo Wamatzoteo Ashar Anachem Matzoka Atha Wabanka Wabanbanka Chol Yemei Che'echa, Walaman Ya'arakon Yamecha, Washamaita Ya'o Shar'ah, Washamartha Lachashot Ashar Yetab Lacha, Wa Ashar Darabon Ma'ad Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e, Abathecha Lacha, Arat Zabath Chalab Wadabash, Shema Ya'o Shar'ah, Ya'o Ala'eno, Ya'o Achad, Wa'ab Tha'ath Ya'o Ala'eka, Bakal Lababka, Babakal Napashka, Babakal Ma'adka, Waheo Hadabarim Ha'ala, Ashar Alachem Matsoka, Hayom Rol Lababka, Wa Shananta Labaneka Wadabarta Bam, Bashabathka Babethka Wabalakathka Badarak, Wabashakabka Wabakomka, Wakasharta Laoth Royadka, Waheo Latatapath Bain Rineka, Wakathabta Ra Mazazoth Bethka, Wabashareka. Aman Shalom.
Waza'ath Hamatzoh, Chakim wa Hamashpatim, Ashar Tsoh, Ya'o ala Echam, Lamad Adcham, Lachashot Ba'aratz, Ashar Atam Chabarim Shema Larashatha, Laman Teir At Ya'o ala Echa, Lashamar Adcho Chakateo, Wamatzoteo, Ashar Anachim Atzocha, Ata Wabancha Wabanbancha, Chol Yamei Echa, Walaman Ya'arachon Yamecha, Washamata Ya'oshro, Washamarta Lachashot Ashar Yetab Lacha, Wa Ashar Tarabon Ma'ad, Cha Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e, Abatecha Lacha, Arat Zabath Chalab Wadabash, Shema Ya'oshro, Ya'o Ala'enu, Ya'o Achad, Wa'ab Da'ath Ya'o Ala'echa, B'chol Labavcha, Wabachon Napashcha, Wabachon Ma'adcha, Waheo Hadabarim Ha'ala Ashar Anachem Matzocha, Hayom Ghalabavcha, Washananta Labanecha, Wadabarta Bam Bashabat Chababetcha, Wabalachatcha, Badarach, Wabashachabcha, Wabakomcha, Wakasharta Laoth Ghalyadcha, Waheo Latatapath Bain Renecha, Wachatabta Ghal Mazazot Betcha, Wabasharecha. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Waza'ath Hamatzo Chakim wa Hamashpatim. Ashar Tzo Ya'o Ala'echam. Lalamad Athcham La Chashoth Ba'aratz Ashar Atham. Chabarim Shema Larashatha. Lamain Ther Ath Ya'o Ala'echa. La Shamar Athko Chakateo wa Matzoteo Ashar Anachem Matzocha. Atha wa Bancha. Cho Yame Che'echa wa Lamain Yarachon Yamecha. Wa Shemaita Ya'o Shar'ah, Wa Shemarta La Chashoth Ashar Yetab L'cha Wa Ashar. Tharabon Ma'ad Cha Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e, Abathecha L'cha, Arat Zabath Chalab Wadabash. Shema Ya'o Shar'ah, Ya'o Ala'eno, Ya'o Achad. Wa Abtha Ath Ya'o Ala'echa, B'chol Lababcha, Wa B'chol Napashka, Wa B'chol Ma'adka. Wa Heo Hadabarim Ha'ala Ashar Anachem Atzocha, Hayom Chol Lababka. Wa Shananta Labanecha, Wa Dabarta, Bam Bashabathka, Babethka, Wa Balachathka, Badarak, Wa Bashkabka, Wa Bakomka. Wa Kasharta Laoth Chol Yadka. Wa Heo La Tatpath Ben Chemicha. Wa Chatabta Chol Mazodot Becha, Wa Basharecha. Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Waza'at Hamatzo Ha-Chakim wa Hamashpatim Ashar Tzo Ya'o ala Echam. Lalamad Athcham Lakashot Ba'arat Ashar Atham Chabarim Shema Larashatha. Lamain Ther Ath Ya'o ala Echa. Lashamar Athkal Chakateo Wamatzoteo Ashar Anachem Matzocha. Ata Wabancha Wabanbancha Chol Yamecha Echa. Walaman Ya'arakon Yamecha. Washamaita Ya'o Shar'ah. Washamartha Lachashot Ashar Yetab Lacha, Wa Ashar Tarabo Ma'ad, Cha Ashar Dabar Ya'o Ala'e Abathecha Lacha, Arat Zabat Chalab Wadabash, Shema Ya'o Shar'al, Ya'o Ala'eno Ya'o Achad, Wa'ab Ta'at Ya'o Ala'echa, B'chal Lababcha, Wa B'chal Napashcha, Wa B'chal Ma'adcha, Wa Heo Hadabarim Ha'ala Ashar Anachem Matzocha,
Hayom Chal Lababcha. Wa Shananta Labanecha, Wadabartha, Bam Bashabathka, Babeithka, Wabalakatha, Badara, Wabashakhabka, Wabakomcha. Wa Kasharta La Oath Chal Yadcha. Wa Heo Latatapath Bain Echenecha. Wa Khatabta Chal Mazozot Beithcha, Wabasharecha.
Job, Mazmur 92.
Tob. Mazmur Sher Layom Ha-Shabath. Tob Lahadoth Laya'oh. Walazamar Lashamcha Galeon. Lahaged Babakar Chasadcha. Wa'amunafka Baleloth. Gale Rashur Gale Nabal Gale Hageon Bachanur. Che Shemach Thaneya O Bapalcha. Bamaishe Yedeka Aranan. Magadalo Masheka Ya O Ma'ad Ramako Mach Shabathecha. Eish Baila Yadai Wachasel La Yabain Ata'at. Paparach Rashayim Chamo Rashab Wayetsetso Cho Pile On Lahash Madam Gradegad. Wa'athar Marom Lagalam Ya'o. Kehana Ebecha Ya'o. Kehana Ebecha Ya'abaro Yatha Parado Cho Pile On. Watharam Charaim Karane, Balthe Bashaman Rainan, Wathabat Rene Bashuri Bakamem Rale Marai Aim Thashamina Azane. Today, Chathamar Yaparach, Ha'oraz Balebanon Yashaga, Shatholem Babeth Ya'o, Bachad Saroth, Alaeno Yaprecho, Rod Yanobon Basheba, Dashane Morana name Ya'eo. Lahaged He Yashar Ya'o Tzore. Wala Rolatha Bo. Aman. Shabbat Shalom.
Aman. Shabbat Shalom.
Aman. Mazmor for the Shabbat day. It is good to give thanks to Ya'o and to sing praises to your name, Galeon, to declare your mercy in the morning and your faithfulness at night. On an instrument of 10 strings, on the psaltery and on the harp with harmonious sound. For you, Ya'o, have made me glad through your work. I will triumph in the works of your hands. Ya'o, how great are your works! Your thoughts are very deep. A senseless man does not know, nor does a fool understand this. When the wicked spring up like grass, and when all the workers of iniquity flourish, it is that they may be destroyed forever. But you, Ya'o, are exalted forever. For behold your enemies, Ya'o, for behold, your enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn you have exalted like the horn of a rhino. I have been anointed with fresh oil. My eye also has seen my desire on my enemies. My ears hear my desire on the wicked who rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those who are planted in the house of Ya'o shall flourish in the courts of Alaeno. They shall continually bear fruit in old age. They shall be fresh and flourishing, to declare that Ya'o is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Aman.
Man. Ma Hayom Hazah. Mashpachate.
Hayom Hazah, Yom Ha-Shabath, Shabbat La-Ya'oh. Shamana Wagasharim. Wait, I'm sorry. Tasha'e. Ha-Chadash. Okay, Ha-Chadash, Ha-Tasha'e. Shamana Wagasharim Yom Ha-Chadash. Bashana Shabbat Alapim Atem Chamashem Wa'arabai Ma'ra'ashet Baro'a Shana Hashanet Layibal.
Shalom.
Shalom.
So he said today is the Shabbat holiest day of our calendar, 7th day of the week. It is the 9th month, and it is the 28th day of our month, the year 7254, and the second year of the Jubilee Yobal cycle. And that's where we are. Time is moving. So today we are going to jump into, after the 10 words, we're going to jump into Thorah 1, chapter 8. And I might go a little further and do chapter 9. But we're going to continue the flood story, chapter 8. And then if we have time, we'll do prophecy after that. So now I'm going to put up the 10 words, and I need 7 volunteers to read. Go.
Hey, shalom.
Okay, you want to be number 1?
Khan.
So,
Wayadabar la'im atchol hadabarim ha'ala la'amar anachi ya'o aleicha ashar hotzatecha ma'aratz matzrim ma'bit kabatim la ya'ilacha ala'im acharim gal paneh la taishalacha basal v'chol tamona ashar b'shamim amagal v'ashar ba'aratz matachat v'ashar b'mei matachat la'aratz la tashatachol laham v'latay b'dam anachi ya'o aleicha al kan v'kad dron abath gal banim gal shel v'gal raba'im l'shana'eh وغاش خساد وعربهم لعابه ولشمار מצופה. لا תשעת שם יאו עלה איך לשעה. لا ינקה יאו אף אשר ישעת שמו לשעה. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו. ששת ימים תעבד וראשית החומל אחתך ויום השבת שבת ליאו עליך. لا תישא חומל אחת. אתה ובנך ובתך ורבדך ואמתך ובאמתך וגרך אשר באשריך. אחרי 6 ימים רשע יאו עד השמים ועד הארץ, עד הים ועד כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השבת. אבל כאן ברך יאו עד יום השבת, ויקדשו. כבד עד אביך ועד עמך, למען יארכון ימיך כל האדם, אשר יאו עליך נתן לך. לא תרצח, לא תנאף, לא תגנב, לא תינה ברייך עד שכור, לא תחמד בתרייך, לא תחמד בשעת רייך, וכבדו, ואמתו, ושורו, וחמרו, וכל אשר ברייך. אמן.
Aman. Wa Shabbat Shalom. Wa Za'ath Hamatzo. Wait, my bad. Wa Yarbar Allah en. Athchol Harbarim Ha'ala La'amar. Anache Ya'o Allah Echa. Ashar Hotzathecha. Ma'aratz Matrim Mabeth Chabadem. La Ya'elacha Allah en. Acharim Chol La Thashalacha. Basal Wachol Thamona. Ashar Bashamim Mamachol. Wa'ashar ba'aratz mathachath, wa'ashar b'mem mathachath la'aratz. La thashathachol laham, wa la thabaram. Che anache ya'o ala echa, al kan. Bakar chon abath chal banem, chal shalashem. Wa chal raba'em la shana'eh. Wa chasha chasad, la alapem, la abe, wa la shamare matzothe. La thasha'ath sham ya'o ala echa, la sho'ah. Chela yanaka ya'o ath ashar yasha ath shamo la sho'ah. Zachor ath yom Ha-Shabath la kadasho. Shashath yemem tabad wa chashetha chal mal achatcha. Wa yom Ha-Shabath Shabath la ya'o ala echa la thasha chal mal acha atha wa bancha wa batcha chabacha wa amatcha wa ba'amatcha wa garcha ashar basharecha. Cheshashath yemem chasha ya'o ath hashmem wa ath ha'aratz ath hayam wa ath chal ashar bam wa yanach bayom Ha-Shabath chalchan barach ya'o ath yom Ha-Shabath wa yakadasho. Chabad ath abecha wa ath amcha lamanya arachon yamecha chal ha'adama ashar ya'o ala echa nathan lacha. La tharatzach, la thana'ak, la thaganab, la thana baracha chad shakar, la thachamad beth racha, la thachmad ashath racha, wa chabado, wa amatho, wa shoro, wa chamaro, wa chol ashar laracha. Aman.
Shalom. Why Yadabar Alaim at Kal Hadabarim Allah La Amar. Anahe Ya'o Allah Echa, Ashar Hotzathecha, Ma'aretz Matzrem, Mabeth Chabadem. La Ya'e Lacha Alaim Acharem Chalpane. La Taisha Lacha Pasal Wachal Tamona, Ashar Bashamem Mamachal, Wa Ashar Ba'aratz Matachat, Wa Ashar Bamem Matachat La Aratz. La tashatacho laham, wala thaibaram. Che anache ya'o ala echa, al kan pakad, achon abath, achal banem, chal shalashem, wachal rabaim, lashanae. Wachasha chasad la alapem, la abe, wala shamare matsote. La tasha at sham ya'o ala echa la shoah. Che la yanaka ya'o at ashar yasha'at shamo la shoah. Zachor at Yom Ha-Shabath lakadasho. Shishat Yamim Taibad Wakasheta Kal Malachatka. Wa Yom Ha-Shabe'ah Shabbat La-Ya'o Ala'ech. La Taisha Kal Malacha. Ata Wabancha Wabatcha Chabadcha Wa'amatcha Waba'amatcha Wagarcha Ashar Basharecha. Che Shishat Yamim Chasha-Ya'o at Hashamim Wa'at Ha'aratz. At Hayam Wa'at Chol Ashar Bam. Wa Yanach Bayom Ha-Shabe'ah. Chal Cham Barach Ya'o at Yom HaShabbat Vayakadash Ho. Chabad at Abecha wa at Amcha. Laman Ya'arachon Yamecha Chal Ha'adama Ashar Ya'o Ala Echa Natan Lacha. La Tarat Sach. La Tana'ab. La Taganab. La Taina Baraicha Achat Shakar. La Tachamad Beit Raicha. La Tachamad Ashath Raicha. Wa Chabado, wa Amato, wa Shoro, wa Chamaro, wa Chal Ashar Laraicha.
Megod.
Shalom. Wa Yadabar Allah Aim Ad Chol Hadabarim Ha'Allah La'mar. Anache Ya'o Allah Echa. Ashar Hotzatecha. Ma'aratz Matzrim Mabith Rabadim. La Ya'e Lacha Allah Aim Acharim Chalpane. La Dasha Lacha Pasal Wachot Amona Ashar Bashamim Mamachal. Wa Ashar Ba'aratz Matachat. Wa Ashar Bamei Matachat La'aratz. La tashata cholaham, wala tabadam, che anache Ya'o ala echa. Al kan pakar ron abath ral banem, ral shalashem, wa ral rabaim, lashana wa chasha chasad, la alapem la abe, wa la shamare matzote, la tashaat sham Ya'o ala echa, la shoa che la yanaka. Ya'o at ashar yasha at shamo lashoa. Zachor at Yom Ha-Shabath Laikadasho. Shishat Yamim Tabad Wa Chashet Chal Mala'achatcha Wa Yom Ha-Shabe'ah. Shabbat La Ya'o Ala Echa. La Tasha Chal Mala'acha Atha Wabancha Wabatcha Chabadcha Wa Amatcha Waba'amatcha Wa Garcha Asher Basharecha. Che Shashat Yamim Chasha Ya'o At Hashamim Wa'at Ha'aratz. At Hayam Wa'at Chol Asharbam. Wayanach Bayom Hashabe'aye. Chol Chan Barach Ya'o At Yom Hashbat. Wayakadash Ho. Chabad At Abecha Wa'at Amcha. Laman Ya'rachon Yamecha. Chal Ha'adama Ashar Ya'o Ala Echa. Natan Lacha. La Taratsak. La Tana'at, La Taganab, La Tanabaracha Chad Shakar, La Thamad Beth Racha, La Thamad Ashat Racha, Wa Chabado, Wa Amato, Wa Shoro, Wa Chamaro, Wa Chal Ashar La Racha.
Megod.
Yadabar Allah aim Athal Hadabarim Ha'ala La Amar Ha-Shabath Allah Echa Ashar Hotzafecha Ma'aratz Matreim Mabeth Chabadem La Ya'elecha Allah aim Acharim Chal Paneh La Taisha Lacha Pasal Wachal Thamona Ashar Bashamei Mamachal Wa Ashar Ba'aratz Matachaf Wa Ashar Bamei Matachaf La Aratz La Tashata Chol Laham Wa La Thibadam Che Anache Ya'o Allah Echa Al Khan, Pakat the Khon Abath, Khal Banim, Khal Shalashem, Khal Rabaim La Shanae, Wakhasha Khasa La Alapim La Abe, Wala Shamari Matsote, La Tasha Ath Sham Ya'o Allah Echa La Shoah, Kay La Yanaka Ya'o Athashar Yasha Ath Shamo La Shoah, Zachor Ath Yom Ha-Shabath La Kadasho, Shashath Yamim Taba Wakhasheta, Khal Mal Achafcha, Wayom Ha-Shabath Shabath La Ya'o Allah Echa. La taisha chal mal acha, atha, wabancha, wabatcha, chabarcha, wa amatcha, wa ba'amacha, wa garcha, ashar basharecha. Che shashat yameim Chasha-Ya'oh ath hashemeim, wa ath ha'aratz, ath hayam, wa ath chal ashar bam, wa yenach bayom ha-Shabath. Chal chan barach Ya'oh ath yom ha-Shabath, wa yakadash ho. Chabad ath abecha, wa ath amcha, Lamad Ya'arachon Yamecha Chal Ha'adama Ashar Ya'oh Allah Echa Nathan Lacha La Darat Sach La Thana'ab La Thaganab La Thaina Baraicha Echad Shikar La Thachamat Beth Raicha La Thachamat Ashath Raicha Wa Chabado Wa Amatho Wa Shoro Wa Chamaru Wa Chal Ashar La Raicha
Man, Yadabar Allah aim Athal Hadabarim Ha'ala La Amar Ha-Shabath Allah Echa Ashar Hotzafecha Ma'aratz Matreim Mabeth Chabadem La Ya'elecha Allah aim Acharim Chal Paneh La Taisha Lacha Pasal Wachal Thamona Ashar Bashamei Mamachal Ashar Bamei Matachach La Aratz La Dashata Cholaham Wala Thibadam Che Anache Ya'oh Allah Echa Al Khan Pakat Chonabath Chobanim Rosh Hashem Wachal Rabaim La Shanae Wachasha Chasad La Alapim La Abe Wala Shamare Matzote La Thasha Ath Sham Ya'oh Allah Echa La Shawah Che La Yanaka Ya'oh Ath Thashar Yasha Ath Shamo La Shawah Zachor Ath Yom Ha-Shabath La Kadasho Shashat Yamein Taibat Wachasheta Chama Achatcha Wayom Ha-Shabath Shabath La Ya'oh Allah Echa La Taisha Chama Lakha Ata Wabancha Wabacha Abacha Wamatcha Wabamatcha Garcha Ashar Basharecha Che Shashat Yamein Chasha-Ya'oh Ath Hashemein Wa Ath Ha'aratz Ath Hayam Ath Cha Ashar Bam Nach Bayom Ha-Shabath Rachan Barak Ya'oh Ath Yom Ha-Shabath Wa Yakadash Ho Chabad Ath Abecha Wa Ath Amcha Laman Ya'arachon Yamecha Ra Ha'adama Ashar Ya'oh Allah Echa Natan Lacha La Tarat Stach La Tana'ab La Zaganab La Thaina Baracha Cha Shakar La Tachama Beit Raicha La Tachama Ashath Raicha Wa Chabado Wa Amato Wa Shoro Wa Chamara Wa Cha Ashar La Raicha Aman.
Mejor.
Shalom. Yadabar Allah aim Athal Hadabarim Ha'ala La Amar Ha-Shabath Allah Echa Ashar Hotzafecha Ma'aratz Matreim Mabeth Chabadem La Ya'elecha Allah aim Acharim Ral Paneh La Taisha Lacha Pasal Wachal Thamona Ashar Bashamei Maral Wa Ashar Ba'aratz Matachaf Wa Ashar Bamei Matachaf La Aratz La Dashatakol Laham Wala Thibadam Che Ha-Shabath Allah Echa Al Khan Pakad Chonabath Robane Rosh Hashem wa Robaim Lashanae wa Rasha Kasad Alapim La Abe La Shamare Matsote La Tasha Ath Sham Ya'oh Ala Eka La Shoah Che La Yanaka Ya'oh Ath Ashar Yasha Ath Shamo La Shoah Zakor Ath Yom Ha-Shabath La Kadasho Shashat Yamim Thaibad wa Rasheta Kal Mel Achavka wa Yom Ha-Shabath Shabbat La Ya'oh Ala Eka La Taisha Kal Mel Acha Atha Wabanka, Wabathka, Rabadka, Wa Amathka, Wabamatha, Wagarka Ashar Bashareka, Shashath Yamim Ha-Shabath Ath Hashemayim Wa'ath Ha'aratz, Ath Hayam Wa'ath Kal Ashar Bam, Wayanak, Bayom Ha-Shabath, Rokam Barak Ya'o Ath Yom Ha-Shabath, Waya Kadash Ho, Chabad Ath Abeka, Wa'ath Amka, Lamad Ya'arakon Yameka, Roha Adama Ashar-Ya'oh Alaeka Nathan Lacha, La Taratsak, La Tana'ap, La Taganab, La Taina Bareka Ra-Shakar, Latachamad Beth Reka, Latachamad Ashath Reka, Wa Chabado Wa Amaka, Wa Shora Wa Chamar, Wa Kal Ashar La Reka. Aman Shalom.
Aman. Wa Yadabar Allah Aim. Athchal Hadabarim Ha'Allah La Amar. Anachiya'o Allah Echa. Ashar Hutzatecha Ma'aratz Matrem Ma'beit Rabadem. La Ya'elacha Allah Aim Acharem Gal Pene. La Taishalacha Pasal. Wachal Thamona. Ashar Bashamem Magal. Washar Ba'aretz Matachat. Washar Ba'mem Matachat La Aratz. La Tashatachulaham. Wallah Taibadam. Che Anachiya'o Allah Echa. Al Khan Pakadron Abat Gal Benem. Gal Shalashem, Wagal Rabaim, La Shanaim, Wa Rasha Chasad La Alapim, La Abe, Wala Shamari Matsothek. La Thashar At Sham Ya'o Ala Echel La Shoah, Chela Yanaka Ya'o, Athashar Yasha Ath Shamo La Shoah. Zachor At Yom, Ha-Shabath La Kadasho, Sheshat Yamim, Thaibat Wakashetha, Kal Malachatcha, Wayom Ha-Shabe'e, Shabath La Ya'o, Allah Echa, La Taisha, Kal Malacha, Atha, Wabancha, Wabadcha, Chabadcha, Wa'amatcha, Wabamatcha, Wagarcha, Ashar Basharecha, Cheshashat Yamim, Rasha Ya'o Ath Hashemin, Wa'ath Ha'aratz, Ath Hayam, Wa'ath Chal Ashar-Bam, Wa'yanach Bayom Ha-Shabe'e, Ra'chan, Barach Ya'o, Ath Yom Ha-Shabath, Wa'yakadash Ho. Chabad Ath Abecha Wa'ath Amcha, Laman Ya'arachon Yamecha, Ral Ha'adama, Ashar Ya'o, Allah Echa Nathan Lacha, La Tarat Sach, La Tana'ap, La Thaganam, La Thaina Baraicha Rat Shakar, La Thachamat Beth Reicha, La Thachamat Ashath Reicha, Wa Chabado, Wa Amato, Wa Shoro, Wa Chamaro, Wa Chal Ashar Laraicha. Aman.
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 So, speaking of the 10 words, I was explaining to someone about the tatapa. You make one, it lasts, if it's anything like mine, it'll last a month before it's already worn out. You make another one, right? You discard the old one, you make a new one. It's just a sign of something. It's a sign on your hand that we are on a hand, but what is it a sign of?
Asher the barn.
Yeah, but what else?
Allegiance.
Our
Okay,
covenant with Ya'o.
okay. What else?
Yes, circling
Say it again.
between the eyes.
Yeah, it's a sign. It's between our eyes. I see yours, you see mine. I see mine, you see yours. So it's a sign between our eyes. But what is it a sign of?
Dedication.
Yeah, true.
Set
It's
apart.
also
Our covenant to Yahweh.
true. True.
Hadabarim
But why do you wear it? Why does it need to be something between
Is
your
it
eyes?
accountability?
Okay, accountability. Everything you're saying is true.
Reminder.
Reminder, okay.
Put me in check.
Put you in check. I don't need something wrapped around my wrist to remind me of the commandments. But so what is it really a sign of that I'm wearing it? And I see you and you see mine.
Confirmation that you plan on keeping it.
Yeah.
That you're set apart from the other nations.
Well, the nations don't know. We got to explain it to them. But why do you and I walk around wear it and we see yours and you see mine, and what's that all about?
Yeah,
Because we
that's
don't care.
confirmation.
Okay, I was trying to tell this person that it's a sign of what's inside my heart. You can't see what's in my heart. You can't see what's in my mind. So this is a sign of what's in my heart. Even if I'm not wearing it, it's still in my heart, still in my mind, right? It's a sign of what is in your heart. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's a sign of allegiance. Yeah, it's a sign of the law. Yeah, it's all those things. But really, what is it if it's not on your heart?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. You wear it because it's a sign of what is already in your heart. And if it's not on your heart, then you wearing it means nothing. Nothing at all if it's not on your heart. That's why we wear it. It's a sign of what's really inside of us, what's really in our heart. So we keep that in mind each time you wear it. It's not so you can show people. It's not so much so that you can even, show yourself. It's a sign, should be a sign of what's in your heart. And if you're not keeping his commandments, if those commandments are in your heart, he knows that you're just wearing it to pretend. Just a piece of an article of clothing. It's just fashion. It's nothing, doesn't really mean anything if it's not in your heart.
Aman.
All right, Thorah
Aman.
1. Chapter 8. Right? Pretty sure that's where we stopped. First word, line 1. Wa ya Zachar.
And he remembered.
He remembered. Verb, Allah, aim.
The higher power.
Subject of the verb. Then to complete the predicate sentence, af nach. Well, af chal. Well, let's stop there. Af nach.
He remembered the nach.
Yeah, that's the first object. First object of the verb, you remember nach, but also af chal hacheh.
And all the living creatures.
All the animals. Well, af chal mama.
And all the quadrupeds.
Yeah, just land animals. That would be fine. Okay. So anything that's walking on the land.
Okay.
Ashar atho.
That were with him.
Bathaba.
In the ark.
Okay. That's scary. So what, you forgot about Nach while you were destroying everybody? For a moment there, Nach wasn't on his mind. He said he remembered Nach. Wa Yaibar Alaim.
And he caused to pass over Alaim.
Roch.
A wind.
A wind. Ral Ha'aratz.
Over the earth. Upon the earth.
Wa Yashacho Hamem.
So were, let me see. Was it Shacha?
Yep.
I don't remember. I mean, I go by memory. We're receded, the waters.
And they were subsided.
They subsided, they stopped.
Okay, shalom.
Yeah, let's do 2 and 3. Wa Yasacharo.
And they stopped.
So this would be passive. Wa Yasacharo.
So words stopped.
My Anath Fa'om.
The fountains of the deep.
Of the deep. Wa Arabath Hashemim.
And the windows of the heaven.
Okay. Wa Yachal Hagasham.
And was restrained the rain.
Aman Hashemim.
From the heavens.
Wa Ishabul Hamim.
And returned the waters.
Magal ha'aratz.
From upon the earth.
Haloch.
Going.
Continually. Definitive absolute.
Okay,
Wa shob.
And returning.
Another
it says
infinitive.
going and turning, right?
Yeah, and returning.
Oh.
Wa ya chasaro. They've decreased.
Okay, shalom.
From chasar would be to lack or to want. So this is they lacked or they decreased.
Okay.
Hamem.
The waters.
Ma katsa hashemem.
From the end of the 50th.
I'm sorry, ma katsa hamashem.
Hamashem. Okay, yeah, from the 50th. From the end of the 50th.
Wa ma'ath yom.
And 150th day.
So it rained, as we said last week in class, the rain was 40 days and 40 nights. So, but the water didn't stop rising after the rain stopped. So if we go back to our chronology here, Noah came into the ark on the 10th day of the second month. Flood waters began to rain on the 17th day of the second month. That was 4th of July, the year 2974. 40 days later would bring you to the third month, the 26th day. That would be a Thursday, August 12th. But the water continued for another up until the 150th day, and that would bring us to the 7th month, 14th day. That would be November 30th in the pagan calendar. So here we are at this date, November 30th, Tuesday, year 2974 BCE. Okay. Wa Tanach Hathaba.
And rested the ark.
Ba Chadash Ha-Shabath.
In the 7th month.
Ba Shabai Chashar Yom Chadash.
The 17th day of the month.
Gal Hare Ararat.
On the mountains of Ararat.
Mountains of Ararat. And so I'm teaching that those are the Himalayas, and the tallest one is called Mount Everest. But it used to be called. Yep.
My bad. Sorry. No, sorry cutting you off. Are we supposed to do the first 3 verses for the readers?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Are you guys going?
I went past it, didn't I? Yeah, I should stop right here. So the first 3 would be right here. Got carried away there. So, you're up.
Zachar-Ya'oh mathnach wa'atcho hachich wa'atcho habama ashar atho bathaba wa'yaibar ala'em roch go ha'aratz wa'yashacho hamem wa'yasacharo ma'enot tha'om wa'arabat hashamem wa'yachal hagasham man hashamem wa'yashabo hamem magal ha'aratz haloch washob ويخسر همين مكتسا خمشين ومعاث يوم.
So, Ya'oh.
Why Zachar Allah em athnach wa'athchal hacheh wa'athchal habama ashar atho ba taba wa yabar Allah em roch chal ha'aratz wa yashacho hamem wa yasacharo ma cheneth Tha'om wa'arabath Hashamem wa'yachal ha gasham man ha-Shemem. Wa yashabo hamem. Machal ha'aratz. My bad. Ha'aratz. Haloch wa shob. Wa yachasaro. Hamem ma katzah. Kamashem wa ma'ath yom.
So Ma'at, Zachar-Ya'oh.
Wa yazakar alaim athnach wa athchal hacheh wa athchal habama ashar atho bataba wa yaibar alaim roch chal haaratz wa yashacho hamem wa yas sacharo ma'enath ta'om wa arabat hashamem wa yachal hagasham man hashamem wa yashabo hamem machal haaratz halok washob wa ya chasaro hamem machatz chamashem wa ma'at yom.
So Ma'at, or Ya'oh. Or Ya'oh, I'm sorry.
Zachar alaim ath nach wa'ath chal ha'chei wa'ath chal habama ashar ato bataba wayaibar alaim roch chal ha'aratz Wayashacho hamim Wayasacharo Marinath Thaom
Arabath.
Arabath Hashamim Wayachal. Okay. Harasham Man Hashmim Wayashabo Hamim Machal Haratz Haloch Washob Wayachasaro Hamim Makatz Chamashim Wama'ath Yom.
So, Ya'oram. Is Ya'oram here?
That was me, my band. It's my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shalom. Wa yazachar alaim af nach ba'ath chal hacheh ba'ath chal habam ashar atho ba'athaba wa yaibar alaim roch chal ha'aratz wa yashach o hamem wa yasachar o ma'enath tha'om wa arabath hashemen wa yachal hagasham man hashemen wa yashabo hamem machal ha'aratz Halok wa shu wa ya chasaro hamem makatsa chamashem wa ma'af yom.
So Ma'at, Zachar-Ya'oh.
Shalom. Wa yazakar alaim athnach wa athchal hacheh wa athchal habama ashar atho bathabah wa yaibar alaim roch chal haaratz wa yashacho hamem wa ya sakaro ma'enath ta'om wa arabah hashemen wa yachal hagasham man hashemen wa yashabo hamem magal haaratz haloch wa shob wa ya Chasaro Hamem Machatza Chamashem Wa Ma'ath Yom.
So Ma'an. Zachar-Ya'oh.
Shalom. Why is Zakar ala aim athnach? Wa athkal hache. Wa athkal habama ashar atho bathabath. Wa yaibar ala aim ro chol haaratz. Wa yashako hamem. Wa yasakaro ma chenath saom. Wa arabath hashamem. Wa yakol hagasham man ha shamem. Wayashabo hamem marah haaratz halok washob wayakasaro hamem ma'katsa kamashem wa ma'ath yom. Shalom.
So Ma'an. So just to review again, Zachar and remembered Allah aimed the higher power. Afnach, Wa'adchal Hache, the animals, Wa'adchal Habama, I guess you'd call it the livestock. Ashar Atho, which is with him, Bathaba in the ark. Yaibar, and he caused to pass, Allah aimed the higher power. Roch, a wind, Gal upon Ha'aratz, the earth. Wa Yeshacho Hamem, and the waters were stopped. Yasacharu, and they were stopped. My Anath, the fountains Tha'om of the deep. Wa Arabath, and the windows of Ha-Shabath heaven. Wa Yachal, and it ended. Hagasham, the rain, Man Ha-Shabath, from heaven. Wa Yeshavo, and they returned Hamem, the waters, Mahal, from off of upon, or from upon Ha'aratz, the earth, Haloch, continually, Washob, and returning, Wayachasaro, and they decreased, or they were abated. In other words, as the water stopped. From this point on, the waters start to go down. Hamem, Makatsa, Chamashem, Wama'ath Yom, from the end of 150 days. Next line. Watanach Athaba Bachadash Ha-Shabath Bashabah Chashar Lom Yom Lachadash Gal Hare Arat, in the ark rested in the 7th month, and in the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. And I'm saying that's the Himalayas, and the tallest one would be Ararat. Verse 5. Wahamem He'o Haloch. And the waters, they were
going.
Wachasor,
And
decreasing or abating.
Decreasing. It's an infinitive, absolute. All right.
Yeah. Gad ha-chadash ha-cheshere.
Until the 10th month.
To the 10th month. Ba-cheshere ba-achad.
In the 10th month.
In the first of the month.
Khan.
Ra'ashe ha-haran.
Were seen the tops of the mountains.
So now that you've gotten down to, let me see, look at my chronology here. The 150 days ended in the 7th month, the 14th day. And then 7th month, the ark rested, but the mountains weren't seen. So that's interesting, right? Because now they hit land. They've come back down and they've hit land. They hit the top of the mountain, but they can't see any land yet. Why?
It was there on the highest mountain.
No. How tall is the ark? We did the measurements last week.
What was it? 15 cubits? You're talking about while the water was at its highest?
The ark is 30 cubits high.
30 cubits high.
And the water rose up to 15 cubits to the side of the ark. So the ark is going to hit the top of the mountain before the water goes all the way down to the bottom of the ship. So when the ark landed, when the ark landed, now the water is not only 15 cubits high, it's also the ark is resting on the ground or on the top of the mountain, and the water now is 15 cubits high, and now the water begins to descend the ark. So that's why they don't see anything yet, because the ark is still under the water up to 15 cubits. Again, how do they know that? They know that because they're taking measurements. All along, they're taking measurements. And then it says here in the 10th month, in the first day of the 10th month, now they see the tops of the mountains. So what happened? The waters receded down to the bottom of the ship. And now from that point on, you can start to see the very, very tops of the mountains. And the first one they would have seen is the one that they were on, the tallest one they were on, the tops of the mountains. So what day of the week is month 10, day 1? This is February 16th. Month 10, day 1 is, yep, you're right. I'm sorry. Yom Rebe'ah, Wednesday. This is Wednesday, February 16th, the year 2974, February 16th. Okay, keep that in mind as we read. Wa Ya'eh
And
Makatz
what
Ba'em Yom.
it came to pass at the end of 40 days,
Wa Yapatach Nach
he opened Nach,
Avchalon,
is it the window
the window, Hathaba,
of the ark,
Ashar Chasha.
which he made.
Wa Yashalach Atharab,
And he sent a raven,
Wa Yatso,
and it went out and see, I'm sorry. Yatso. Oh, is it I'm sorry, this one I don't know. Yatso. It went out and going out.
Yep.
It's an infinitive construct.
It's an infinitive absolute.
It's infinitive absolute followed by a regular verb.
No, the regular verb is
I mean, not the
first.
regular, the first one. I'm sorry. You're right. Definitive absolute is after that.
Yeah.
So it went out, it went going and going. The raven, I guess, is a strong, I guess that's why he picked it, because this bird can fly, for a long, long time. It went out going to and fro until the waters were dry. So it didn't even come back. It's just flew around. I guess he was like, wow, I should have sent that bird. That was pretty, maybe not the best choice. But what day did he send it out? At the end of 150 days, which we said is at the end of 40 days, counting from when? Counting from month 10, day 1, which was Wednesday. Where does that leave you? Where do you end up in 40 days? What month, what day?
Month 10, day 1, 40 days.
Month 11, because month 10 has 30 days. We know that. Month 11, you got to count 10 days into month 11. So where would you be?
Yom Echad.
Yom Echad, Tov.
Yom Echad.
So that's when he sent out the raven. He also sent out the next line, because the raven didn't come back. But it says in the next line, Wayashalach, Washov Gad Yeshabath, until
I'm sorry, my man. I think the Yatso goes with the Washov. I think it's in the clause with the Washov. And the first Yats is the end of the first clause. And he went out.
Yats.
And then going out and coming back. Going out and returning until.
Going out and returning. Gad Yeshabath, Hamem.
Until was Yabashat. I think dried up the water.
So the raven was flying out and coming back and forth until the waters receded. But on that same day, Wayashalach Ath Hayonah.
And he sent out a dove.
Ma'afo.
From himself.
La Ra'oth.
To look.
To see.
I'm sorry.
La Ra'oth. Hakalo.
If, because the ha here is the interrogative, right? If I remember correct.
No. It's not an interrogative. There's no question being asked here.
Okay, because the
Wait a minute.
translation.
No, wait a minute. If it's an
That's why.
interrogative,
I thought so,
Hakalo.
because otherwise they cannot be.
Okay. Yeah,
You know what?
I was thinking of a question. It's not the question interrogative, it's the if interrogative.
Okay, huh.
So the Hakalo would be if they were abated or if it was concluded, then Hamim Gal
The wall
Magal Pene Ha'adama.
from upon the face of the earth. In this case,
Wala Matz Hayona. Wala Matzah Hayona.
and she didn't find the dove.
Manoch
A resting place
La Chap Regalha.
for the sole of her foot.
Wat the Shabaleo
So she returned to him,
Al Hathala.
to the ark.
Maim Gal Pene Gal Ha'aratz.
For water upon the face, or was upon the face of the earth. Of all.
Yeah, the waters were upon the face of all the earth. So there's still there was no dry land in that except for the tops of the mountains. Uyashalach Yado.
So sent his hand.
Wayakachha.
And he took her. Okay, so he stretched out his hand and he took her.
Right. Wayabah Afha.
I think, and he brought her.
So Aleo Al Hatam.
Into the ark.
Okay. Line 10. Waya Chal. And he waited.
Oh, still.
Shabbat Yamim.
7 days.
Acharim.
More.
Waya Sap.
And again.
Shalach Af Hayona.
He sent out the dove.
Man Hathaba.
From the ark.
Now, look at this. This is interesting. We said that the end of the 40 days, when the time of the mountains, tops of the mountains were seen on month 10, day 1, that was a Wednesday, Yom Rebe'ayeh. The 40th day would be month 11, day 10. That will be a Sunday. That's when he sent out the raven and the dove. And it says he waited another 7 days. What day would that be that he sent out the dove again?
Yom Echad.
Yom Echad. So what's he doing?
What is he doing?
Keeping track of the days?
Yeah,
Keeping
but why is he sending out the dove only on Yom Echad?
Keeping the weekly cycle.
He's keeping the weekly Shabbat. He's keeping the Shabbat. He sends out the birds. Birds might be gone 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever days, but he's only sending them out on a Sunday, on a Yom Echad. Why? Because he's resting and he wants the animals to rest on Shabbat. Keep reading it. It'll tell you. It gets even more specific. It says here, wa the Ba'aleo Hayona.
She came back to him, the dove.
Lagaf Garab.
By the time of the evening.
Wahana.
Behold.
Gala Zef Tarap Bapeha.
A leaf.
Leaf of the olive leaf.
Fresh plucked, right? Freshly plucked.
Tarap plucked. Bapeha.
In her mouth.
Wayadainach.
And Nunach.
Che Kaloha Me Magal Haaretz.
That were receded the water from upon the earth.
So when he sent out the dove came back that same day in the evening.
Right.
Verse 12, why Yechal, and he waited.
Right.
Gold Shabbat Yamim.
7 more days.
Acharim.
Still 7 more days.
Wayashalach Af Hayona.
And he sent out the dove.
Wala Yisab HaShob.
But not to return anymore to him.
So again, this is another 7 days later. So this would be month 11, day 21st. The first time he sent out the dove was day 10, which was a Sunday. The second time he sent out the dove, it came back with an olive leaf that evening. That was day 17 of month 11, another Sunday. Then again, he waited another 7 days, sent out the dove on a Sunday. This was month 11, day 24, but the dove didn't return. And this proves that even before the flood, at least the righteous people were keeping the Shabbat, keeping the weekly Shabbat. Waya'e ba'achav.
And it came to pass in the first
Washash ma'oth.
And 600
Shana.
Year.
Bara'ashon.
In the beginning.
In the first ba'achad.
In the first.
Right. La Khadash.
Of the month.
Charabu hamem magal ha'aratz. They were dried, the waters from upon the earth. So now, this is the first month of the new year, which is a Wednesday. This is now in the Gregorian calendar. It's April 24. April 24. Wednesday, and it's the year 2973. One year has gone by. 2973 instead of 2974. And this is how we know our calendar is legit, because it's always starting in the spring, March or April. While Yasar Nach.
And remove the Nach.
Af Machsa.
The covering.
Hafaba.
Of the ark.
Wayar.
And he looked.
Wahana.
Behold.
Charabo Panei Ha'adama.
Was dried up the faces, quote unquote, of the.
They were dried, the faces of the land.
Okay.
Chadash Hashaneh.
And the second month.
Vashabai Wagasharim Yom Lachadash.
And the 27th day of the month.
Yabasha Ha'aratz.
Was dried up, the earth.
So the earth was drying in stages. First, okay, there's no more flood waters, but the ground is still wet. And then he waited until the 27th day of, what month is that? Second month. 27th day of the second month would bring us to July 13th, Wednesday, year 2973. Wa yadbar Allah aim al nach la'amar.
And spoke Allah aim to Nach, saying,
Sah man hathaba.
Go out from the ark. Come out. You.
Wa ashavcha.
And your wife.
Wa banecha.
And your sons.
Wa nashe banecha.
And the wives of your sons.
Athcha.
With you.
Chol hacheh.
Every animal.
Ashar athcha.
Which was with you. Which is with you.
Bashar.
Of all flesh. Out of all flesh.
Hope.
As in the flying creature.
Wa babama.
And as in the earth animals. Land animals.
Wa bachal haramash haramash.
And as in everything that every creeping thing that creeps.
Gal ha'aratz.
Upon the earth.
Hayatz avcha.
That which comes out with you.
Wa sharatzo.
And they, I don't know. And they shall swarm. But is it a third person plural zamantamo? I mean, in the reversed.
The month.
Okay. Khan. Wahayatzatha, and they shall swarm, right?
Yep. They will breed or swarm.
Okay.
Ba'arats in the earth. Wa paro.
And they will be
Be
fruitful,
fruitful. Wa rabo. Gal ha'arats.
and they shall more. These are Zaman Tamal reversed or Dabar Matzo?
No, this one wouldn't be a Damar one. So it's just telling you that what they will do.
Okay.
Wa paro, wa rabo. They will increase. They will multiply. Be fruitful. They will multiply. Gal ha'adam. Upon the earth. Wa yats nach. Wa baneo.
So went out Nach and his sons
Wa shato.
and his wife
Wa nashe baneo.
and the wives of his sons
Atho.
with him.
Chal ha'che.
Every animal,
Chal ha'ramash.
every creeping thing,
Wa chal ha'chop.
and every flying creature,
Chal romash. Gal ha'arats.
everything crawling upon the earth
Lamash pachafeham.
according to their families.
Yatsa'o man hathaba.
They came out, they went out from the ark.
Line 20. Wa yaban nach mazbach Ya'oh.
And build Nach an altar unto Yahweh.
Now that can't be the first time. I don't believe that's the first time an ark to Ya'oh was, an altar was built to Ya'oh, but it shows us that sacrifices don't just begin with our laws. Even before the flood, people were making offerings and sacrifices. We saw that with Cain and Abel, but here it's just another proof that sacrifices is he offering animals to atone for his sin? Is this about sin right now? Did Knock and his family need to be
La.
No, what is it?
Gratefulness.
Thanksgiving.
Gratefulness.
Exactly. So that's what our mancha is now. We're not offering mancha to atone for our sin. We know that's not how it works. We're offering the mancha just to be grateful. Grateful that we're here, grateful that we have life, grateful that we are part of the remnant, grateful that he's chose us to, all that stuff. That's what we do. We're thankful. That's what they did. After this destruction of the world, they made sacrifice. They offered to Yahweh. Well, yakach machal habama hata'ara. Hata'ara.
So where are we? Wayakach. Where is it?
Well, yakach
Walayah?
machal.
Oh,
This one.
okay. So he took out of all the cattle, the animals, the land animals that were clean,
Well, machal harob hata'or.
and out of all the flying creature that was clean,
Well, yael chalath ba'masbach.
and he caused to go up a burnt offering on the altar.
So some of those animals weren't never meant to. They were.
Make it.
He had that in mind. I'm picking animals. So after this, I'm going to offer them to Yahweh as an offering. Wa Yerach Ya'oh.
So smelled Ya'oh.
Athrech Hanechach.
The smell, the sweet.
Wa Ya'amar Ya'oh Alabo.
And said Ya'oh to his own heart,
La Asap La Kalal.
not again to abate, to destroy.
Yeah, to curse or to destroy. Rod Aha Adama.
Still, not anymore.
Again.
Again, thank you. The ground, the soil.
Bagabor for the sake or on account of Ha'adam.
Mankind.
Cheyatzar Lab.
For the concoction of the heart of man.
Rai.
It's wicked.
Ma Naireo.
From his youth.
Wala Asapod La
Not anymore to smite
Afchal Che
all life.
Cha'ashar Rashete.
Just like I did.
Just like I did. Gad chol yemei haaretz
until all the days of the earth,
Zerai
seed time
wa katser
and harvest,
wakar,
and winter,
or that just means
and cold, I'm sorry, and cold,
wacham,
and heat,
waketz,
and summer,
summer,
if I right,
wacharap,
and winter,
and winter, wayom walela,
day and night.
la yashabato,
Not they will cease.
not will cease.
Shalom.
So some folks think this is the beginning of seasons, that prior to this, there wasn't seasons. There was just one uniform climate all over the world. They didn't have winter and summer and all that stuff. I don't know if that's true because it says day and night will also not stop, and there was day and night before the flood. So I don't think that's what it means. I think he's saying that he's not going to turn nature against the earth like he did, where it rained 40 days and 40 nights and the whole world was destroyed, which basically threw off for that moment, that year, in so many days, it threw off the natural order of the seasons. This verse also tells us that Zerai, seed time, is one half of the year. Then Katser is the other half of the year. And Kar is the part of the year when you have Zerai. And Cham is the part of the year when you have Katser. And Kates is the official name for Katser and Cham, that's summer. And Charap is the official name for Zerai and Kar, which would be winter. So there's really only two seasons, not four, but they have these different names. Okay, and he starts with the latter half of the year, Zerai, and then he goes backwards from there to harvest. Well, not backwards, I guess forward. And then he goes to Kar again, back to Zerai, season of Zerai, and then Cham back to uh, the summer season. And then Kates, he called it summer, then Harap, then he just switches back and forth. But he's really just talking about two seasons of the year that that the scriptures recognize, not four. And so that brings us to the end of the 40th day. This is the 27th day. Oh, I did say that the ark, he left the ark, which would be July 13th, 2973 BC. So in total, from the time the rain started till that day, it ended up being a total of 375 days. This destruction, this ordeal lasted 375 days. And there's too much detail, dates, and so forth for it to just be a concocted fairy tale. Either it's a lie and someone's trying to get you to believe a lie with all this specific detail, or it really happened. If it's a lie, it's very, very bad. It's a demonic, deceptive lie, which has deceived the whole world, right? But if it's not, it's the truth. Man, this is a supreme being, a divine heavenly creator, they're making sure the record is never lost about what happened, what he did, why he did it, and so forth. It's all here. So, when science teaches us the world is so many millions of years old, they're dismissing the story, and their carbon-14 dating is not valid if the whole world was soaked in water. Why? Who knows why carbon-14 is useless if stuff is water damaged? What happens to the carbon? They say that carbon decays at a certain rate. That's what they're able to deduce an age of a rock or something like that. Or it's not rocks, it has to be organic. Carbon will decay at a certain rate unless it has been exposed to water, which then throws everything off. Now the carbon will deplete even faster. So carbon-14 doesn't work beyond what? Doesn't work beyond 2974 BC. So anytime someone tells you, oh, this is carbon dated to 15,000 years BC, our Bible, our scriptures telling us that's a lie. You're just looking at something where you think the carbon decayed that much and you think it's that old, but it only looks that old because the world was destroyed by a flood. And everything that you're dating that's organic is gonna come up with an old date when you carbon-14 date it because of the flood. So it's interesting how what Yahweh has done. He wants there to be people who dismiss this book because they're going to go test the minerals and test the samples and test the wood and so forth, and they're going to come up with these ancient ages, and they're going to automatically say, oh, okay, the Bible is wrong. But if they really believe the Bible, they would say, well, I can't trust any date. I can only trust carbon-14 dates up until the flood. But if it gives me a date older than that, then I know it's not accurate because the world was underwater. The entire world was underwater for over a year. But that's not what they do. They just say, no, the Bible's wrong. And so we get this distorted picture of the world from our upbringing in school because the flood story is dismissed. They say, well, why doesn't God just come down and tell people? He did. He left the record. You just have to either believe it or not. And if he's not, if you're not even someone he's interested in, he doesn't even want you to believe. He wants you to believe whatever the hell you come up with in your own deduction. He wants you to believe whatever stuff you come up with. He's not bothered by what you believe. He doesn't care. He's like, oh my God, they're believing stuff that's wrong. Let me go down there and help them. No, he doesn't care if you don't believe, right? That's how he does. That's what he does with people. He lets them believe what they want. He doesn't chase people and try to help them. Uh, he's like the I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, Ya'o is like the woman who wants to be chased, right? No one wants to do the chasing. They want the man to, she's the prize. She wants the man to make the effort, make them a first move. She wants the man to chase her. And then, she'll chase after him, but she's not gonna make the first move. And Ya'o is like that. I'm the prize. You want to know me, then you chase me. And then maybe I'll chase you. After I see how sincere you are and serious you are, you chase me. You knock on doors, you move rocks and you move stuff to find me, and then I'll meet you halfway. But if you're not interested in finding me, I got no time for you. I'm the prize. That's what he's like. It's frustrating if you're a man because I hate reading minds. You tell me what you want, right? But nope, he's not going to say a word. He wants you to chase him. And if people do that, if they chase him and they say, listen, I want to know the truth, just give me a sign. I want to believe, but I'm not sure. Help me, give me a sign. Doesn't he always, who can testify that they once did that? And he gave them a sign.
I sure can.
Hey, Amon.
I know.
Because he wants you to make the first move. And then he'll start, meeting you and chasing you. But not until you make the first move. All right, I'll stop there because it's getting late, and I think folks want to do prophecy. So, any questions?
Okay, I got one.
Sure.
Pertaining to deduction that
Nach was observing the Shabbat, which is something I would still assume. Why do you say that it makes it clear the fact that you be sending the birds out on Yom Echad rather than on whatever other day except for the Shabbat?
You mean why did I count 40 days from month 10, day
No, no,
1?
no. Why do you say that him sending out the birds on Yom Echad is a clear sign that he's keeping the Shabbat?
Okay, well, I'm looking at why does he wait 7 days each time to send out the bird? What's the significance of waiting 7 days each time to send out the bird?
Can we go back to the text real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we started verse 8. No, verse
Yeah.
7. Al-Hagarah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here it's past 40 days. He opens the window and he sends out the raven. And then so it doesn't get, Washov God Yabashar. So here it doesn't say how much time it passes until he sends
No, but I
out.
know the end of 40 days is going to land on a Sunday
You know that.
because it's month 11, day 10. That's a Sunday.
Khan.
That's when he first sent out the 2 birds. Then he waited a
Okay.
week to send out the dove.
Oh, so they were sent out the same day, the first 2
Yeah.
birds?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even realize that. All right.
He didn't wait to send out the dove. He sent the dove out right after the raven. And then he said he waited. The dove didn't find anything, just land on him. So he pulled, the raven kept flying, but the dove came back, didn't find any place to. So it doesn't say when the dove came back, probably came back that night or maybe 2, 3 days later. But he waited until next Sunday, the next Yom HaChag, to send the dove out again. And the dove came back that evening, that same evening, with an olive leaf. And then he waited another 7 days, Yom HaChag, sent out the dove again, but the dove didn't come back this time. So I'm deducing, why does he keep waiting? Why does he keep waiting a week? Oh, because he's keeping track of the weeks. He's keeping track of, when the 7th day is.
Okay. Huh.
He knows what week it is. He knows he doesn't just know the day of the month, like it's the 17th day of the month. He knows what day of the week it is. And he's
Oh.
sending out each bird on the first day of the week because that's the first day of the work week. That's when work begins.
True. Okay, I get this one. Okay. Huh. That makes sense. Okay, huh. All right, shalom.
Shalom. Anybody else? There's just a little nuance to show you that when he made the Shabbat holy, it was for all man, but we see Nach keeping it. And there's a tradition that's valid. I don't think it's invalid that it was even kept all the way down to Abram, and Abram passed it on to his children. And when they went down to Egypt, they just stopped doing it. They became pagan after they were assimilated into the Egyptian culture. And then when he brought them out of the Exodus, he reestablished the Shabbat for the nation. So it wasn't something he just newly introduced to them when they came out of Egypt. He just reinstated it because it had been lapsed. They had been lapsed in keeping it when they were slaves in Matran. Anybody else? Question? It doesn't have to be related to Thorah, but if you
Shalom Nabe.
Shalom.
Zachar-Ya'oh. Was it dark in the ark, or do you think not, like, did he light fire or whatever? Did he, you know what I mean? Did he make light?
I would assume he had to do that because even for 40 days when it's raining, the cloud cover would have been dark. He did have windows at the top of the edge of the ark. There were window openings
So
so light could get in.
there was windows. It wasn't just windows. Windows plural.
Yeah, there were windows for light and air, to ventilate. You need ventilation, and there were windows, but there was one roof where he could open and actually go out, like peek out.
Huh.
One cover on the top. That's where he let the doves out.
And then maybe I missed it. What was he eating? What were they eating in there?
He
Did I
was told
miss it?
earlier. He was told earlier in chapter 7 to bring food that would, the ground, what was grown from the ground. That's
Huh.
what the animals ate. Same thing.
Okay, so he had a lot of food in there.
Yeah.
Do you imagine he was comfortable in there, or was he kind of like, how like at Kakasakat? I mean, we're living, but we're not really comfortable. Not like, So
Yeah.
he's probably used to living in a pretty nice house, I would imagine.
Right.
And so now he's like uncomfortable and I asked that question because Ha-Shabath, the ark, is salvation.
Right.
Nachon.
Right.
But salvation doesn't look so great, probably coming from how he used to live, and now he's basically in this ark, floating on a bunch of water with a bunch of stinking animals and crawly insects and stuff.
Yeah.
And so salvation for over a year. So salvation probably just doesn't look so great, does it? I mean, you know what I mean? When you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm saved, but I'm in this
Yeah. Exactly.
hellhole. So it's just kind of when I look at that, it kind of makes me think of like, my bar.
Yeah.
Everybody's waiting for, just waiting for a ball to fall, because then we'll be rich, right? But in the meantime, it's like, this is salvation. How is this salvation, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All these weirdo dudes, people doing weird stuff and money problems. And, we got to keep raising money and, people get sick and different things. And there's arguments and there's fights and there's grudges and there's beef. So how is this salvation? Right. But
Yeah.
when you look at even, and there's other forms of salvation that we see, but when you look at, what we're looking at here, it just kind of gives you a glimpse into like Ya'oh is like, I don't know, he's just like hardcore, right? He's just like, I'm gonna save you, but man, you gotta work for this. And then how long did it take? Did it take the whole 120 years to build the ark? Or how long did it take to build the ark?
Yeah. It probably took a lot, most of that time. So at 20 years, the 120-year mark will be the 600th year of his life. That will be the end of that 120-year period. So 120 years earlier, he would be a 480. He didn't have any sons yet.
So he's a 480-year-old dude. Oh, so he's building the ark by himself.
Yeah, and then his sons are born, and when he's 500, 20 years later, and they grow up, and you got 100 years. I mean, probably his sons. I would imagine his sons reached about 20 or 30. So they weren't doing any real work until maybe the 70-year mark, 70 years before the flood.
And so it doesn't tell us if he ever, how you ever built something before, you put something together and you measure it wrong, or you put it together and there's pieces left over. It
Yeah,
doesn't tell us if, it doesn't get into we get the broad strokes. Okay, Noah built an ark, right?
right.
But it doesn't tell you if he put something together and he's like, or if he cut some boards and he's like, oh man, this is
Too
too
short.
short.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So and then there's this faith involved because it had nothing had sprung forth from the deep and no rain had come from the sky. It's just like we don't see rocks coming from the sky and destroying cities all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So it's just like, or you didn't think, a lot of people, including myself, we didn't know we were going to come here and siege and have some military. A lot of us didn't even really understand that our culture has a military conscription at the age of 20.
Yep.
I mean, so it's all these different factors that make life suck, so to speak, because we're not used to it. Just like Noach wasn't used to what he was doing, an old ass man building an ark. But this is salvation.
That's right.
So
That's what it looks like.
yeah, it's what it looks like. So I just think it's fascinating, what we can glean from this when we read Thorah, when you look at the nuts and bolts of it and kind of think about certain things. It's like, man, what if he like, you feel like hammering something and hit your finger? It doesn't tell you if he had a swollen thumb, black and blue thumb for a week, or stuff like that. So anyway, just very, very interesting. And I didn't realize, I guess, that he was, I didn't think about a 480-year-old man building a vessel by himself. Um, it's no wonder he got faded after it was all said and done. So
Yeah.
anyway, shalom, Nabe.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid reading this story, and I would just like, sometimes I would have these dreams and nightmares like, wow, what was that like to be inside that giant vessel for that long with all those animals? And you still gotta, it's not like they're all well, maybe most of them were hibernating. That's what animals do in a crisis. They hibernate. They try to conserve fuel. But it says he brought food, so the animals weren't all hibernating. Some of them were awake for all that. Uh, and he had to feed them, take care of them. He couldn't just, you know, stay in his little room where he built his shelter. He couldn't just stay there. So just amazing how we just really have no idea uh, what people had to go through in the service of Yahweh. And they think that everything should be peaches and roses, and it's not. That man had to go through a lot, and say goodbye to people who he knew were just walking dead people. Because my only people getting on the boat is me, my wife, and my sons and their wives. That's it. And you know, say what you want, make fun of me. I'm crazy. Okay. That took faith to trust that, yeah, I'm crazy, but we'll see if I'm crazy when this rain starts. And so yeah, we're in the days just like now. We are in the days of Nah right now, and we are in an ark, building an inside of an ark, and everyone else thinks that we're crazy. Um, but when that destruction happens, you know, they won't be laughing anymore when they see that destruction happens. Anybody else? Question, observation, comment?
Shabbat Shalom, Aben. I have
Shabbat
two
shalom.
questions. Considering that Noah and the people from that time were living a long period of time, and he was 480 years old, could it be that he was still like a young 480 years old, like he was just like a 40-year-old, even like he has an age of nine? Is that a possibility? Like
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think
that he
I
was an
think
old man.
yeah, I think longevity for them meant they didn't really start aging and looking old until they were centuries old.
Yeah.
And he died. He didn't die till he was 950.
So he was a middle-aged man.
He lived another 350 years. So, he was probably like you said, a middle-aged 40. He looked like a 40-year-old man at 600.
Um, and my second question would be, I believe you touched up on this. I just can't recall. Is that not all that? It was not like two of every single animal, but rather it was two of every kind. So like maybe like one pair of cat, and then
Yeah.
the lions and tigers came out of that. One
Yep.
wolf and a dog came out of that, right?
Yep.
But
Exactly.
what? So, but that means like so-called evolution never happened underwater. We still have the same animals. that Yahweh created from day one. Khan?
Yeah, well, there could be microevolution, certain little changes, but nothing going from one species to a whole other species.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Adaptation.
yeah, adaptation, which
Adaptation.
is not the big, humans adapted. That's why we look different. But it's not, we're not changing to another species. We just adapt. We have different skin colors, different hair colors, different eyes, different bone structure. It's just, we're adapting to the environment. That's fine.
Uh, yeah. Sorry, I got one more question.
Yep.
Were Neanderthals and as per scriptures, were Neanderthals and Denisovians the same creatures?
Yeah, I think that's just another type of Neanderthal, Denisovians.
Denisovians, right? I thought so.
Yeah, they're just another type. So there's the same Nachash creature, just a different type.
Khan. Shalom.
Oh,
Shalom.
so he took the Nachash in the ark as well?
Yeah.
I didn't remember. Hey, shalom.
Yep. Anybody else?
Shalom,
Shalom.
Abin.
Mabin.
Oh,
Shalom. Who's that?
Go ahead. Okay. I have a question in regards to waters. Once they are subsided right after the flood, the situation all around the world gets stable as far as for the water level. Do we still have the same water table everywhere, all around the world? Because they keep saying like, oh, Manhattan is like going 4 millimeters everywhere, every year, sinking, and the other islands, Maldives, and they just keep creating different stories like icebergs are melting. We're going to be underwater. We were underwater already. It's just like changing every like hundreds of years. Is this true, or we are in a stable platform of water since the time of the flood after the water subsided?
Yeah, we're not changing. There's no threat or fear that Manhattan will. I mean, when it's destroyed, it might sink underwater, but it's not. There's no uh, climate change or global warming that's going to raise the water level, and things are not changing like that. But we're in the wonder years, so we do see these disasters happen. Why is it so many floods? It's because the moisture in the water is more. There's more moisture in the water because the temperature is increasing. But that's you know very recent. It's not. It can't. Someone can't say, well, that's because of fossil fuels since the industrial age. And it's just building up and building up and building up and building up. No, it's because Yahweh is beginning to shake up the world. There was a meme I saw pretty funny where they see if I can find it where the guy was trying to show if the water level is rising, like they said, how come this island has the same, it has the same marking? Um, where is it? Okay, yeah, I found it. I'll put it up on the screen here. It's just one of those things that proof that scientists and a lot of these people are just playing games with you when it comes to this stuff. But here's a picture of some island in Europe, I guess it is. What's it called here? This is a picture from 1800 where it shows this island, this big rocky island. And in 1910, someone took another picture but they moved up the bottom of the frame to make it look like the water level had risen since then. But they took another picture in 2020, and do you see any change in that shoreline? If anything, it looks like it's shrunk. Looks like there's more of the shore than there was in 1818. So, yeah, it doesn't really fit the evidence. Cone, I see your hand up.
Shalom, Aben. Just want to add us for the sea level. I think the glaciers could affect the sea level, and it's they read some article about it. Anyway, I have a question, Aben. So if the ark was anchored at the highest mountain, then it means the ark has run aground days before they went out, and they just waited inside the ark for months to make sure that the earth is habitable again.
Yeah, they had once the bottom of the ark hit the mountain and it came to rest on the mountain, the water is still 15 cubits high above the mountain. So it's 15 cubits on the side of the ark. So that water has to come down to the bottom of the boat, to the top of the mountain, and then from the top of the mountain go down even further. So yeah, they were waiting many days until they could finally disembark in the second month and the 27th day.
All right. Yep. Shalom.
Jonah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I have a question about like survival after the flood. So we know that the ark had touched down on Mount Everest, like the tallest mountain. So if the flood destroyed all the grass in the trees, and like people need the trees to breathe, but they're on this super tall mountain, how was there oxygen there? Like, how did they live there after everything was gone?
Well, I don't think they stayed there. Once they left the ark, they would make their way down. And grass and stuff like that would grow fast. Like I said, like we just read, the dove brought back an olive leaf. So even though there was um, the waters weren't completely dried off the earth, trees were beginning to grow again. Plants were beginning to grow again.
Oh, okay.
Ya'oh.
Shalom, Abin. I guess an observation that I wanted to make, and also a couple questions pertain to what my wife just said as well. Was it the first question is about Mount Everest? I guess was that like I know in Thorah it says that the land was different from before the flood to after the flood, and there were articles about them finding sediment rocks on top of Mount Everest, showing the effects of the flood after the flood. I guess kind of to add on what she was saying, is it them waiting that extra 7 days inside the ark? Was it because like I would assume because of how treacherous Mount Everest is to climb today? Was it looking kind of how it looked now on top of that mountain? And before then, was it, I guess, easier for them to
If you took
travel
away
up?
all the ice and the snow, it'd be easy to climb Mount Everest.
Right.
The only reason it's difficult is because it's so cold and the snow and the ice. That's what makes it difficult. So when they landed and the waters came down, there was no, ice and snow to negotiate. That happened in the years after the flood. That it's turned to ice and snow.
Right. Now, I guess what she was speaking about, like, could we assume that there was maybe, was the climate different beforehand where there was trees and things like that on top of that mountain at one point, and then afterwards, maybe all that was gone and the place is now barren in a sense?
I don't know what was growing there before the flood. Um, I have no idea. I know that they did find sedimentary rocks, so the sediments that the flood was carrying around, the load of the sediments, a lot of that rested on the surface of the mountain with the ark.
Right.
And that's probably why we don't see the ark. It hasn't been found. Folks going up there is because it would have turned to rock and it would have crumbled. It would have been, it was wood, so it's not going to survive. Um, it'll just crumble to ashes. But the sediment rocks left the marine life, and so it was proof that that area was once underwater. Uh,
Right.
but I don't know what was growing there before the flood. I have no idea.
And I'm sorry, the part of the story where they says the waters also sprang forth from the earth. Could we draw an assumption from that that's what kind of split apart the land in the sense where in those areas where waters were coming up from under the earth or under the land?
I don't think land split apart like the continental shelves and the Pangea
Right.
theory. I don't believe in that. Um, but the fountains of the Great Deep would be, subterranean waters, which we know are there,
Right.
miles under the surface. There's subterranean waters. So those would have come forth. But I don't think that pushed continents apart. I don't believe in that. I think if anything, when the flood waters began to recede, those waters were flowing through Earth and cutting into the land masses, and that's what created the continental shelves.
Okay. And I guess my last part of the observation, the thing I like about the story of Nah is that um, salvation, in a sense, is uh, from what I've read you know um, in Thorah and Thorah is the act is surviving basically, and uh, the amount of work it took for him for all that to be possible, showing that it actually took work to be able to do that versus the Christian ideology of salvation, which is basically after death and going to heaven
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's always been
No
work.
work at all.
Right. So
Yeah, it's
that's
true.
one thing I love about the story. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Shalom.
It's true. It shows you that when it comes to salvation, you also have a part to play. He's not just going to do everything for you. He could have just snapped his fingers and made an ark and said, "Get inside." Or he could have sent the angels and, whisked those people away to heaven and then brought them back down after the flood. He could have done that. He could have, a number of ways he could have saved life. But no, he wanted it done this way. He wanted man to work and to prepare and gather the animals and make sure there's enough food and all that stuff is part of the salvation. Anybody else?
Shabbat shalom, my bang.
Shabbat
Can
shalom.
can you can you break down the word righteousness for me now?
Um, in a nutshell, righteousness is simply doing the will of Yahweh, whatever his commandments are. That's what righteousness is. So it's not taking out your neighbor's garbage. It's not being, a good Samaritan, although that is, a righteous person would be a good Samaritan. But the true definition of righteousness is the man who is walking in the ways of Yahweh.
Shalom.
Boom. Anybody else? Nobody else? All right. Let's look at some prophecy here, and we're going to look at Zachar-Ya'oh chapter 2. And that's only 13 verses. Pull up on the screen.
I'm sorry, what chapter, my man?
Chapter 2. Okay. Verse 1, Wa'asha avchene, and I lifted up my eyes. Wa'ara, and I looked. Wahana, and behold. Our chapter 2, in case folks are wondering, it's actually beginning in verse in the King James and the English Bible it's chapter 1 verse 18. So if you're confused, it's if you have an English Bible, we're starting at chapter 1 verse 18. That's really our chapter 2 for us. Wa ashath gene wa ara wa hanan, behold, ara by Karanoth. I lifted up my eyes, and behold, I saw, and there were 4 horns. The prophet is having a vision, and he sees 4 horns. And he's talking to an angel. An angel is the one showing him these visions and explaining to them what they mean. Well, Amar, and I said Al-Hamalak to the angel, Ha-Malach to the angel, Hadabar Bey, the one speaking to me. Ma Allah, what are these? Well, Ya Amar Ale, and he said to me, Allah HaKaranoth, these are the horns, Ashar, which, or who, Zaro Ath Yaoda. These are the horns with Zaro. Zaro is to scatter, Yaoda. Ath Ya'oh Wa Yerushalayim. So these 4 horns basically are scattering the whole nation, all 12, 13 tribes, all 12 tribes plus Loe. Yehuda, Yahushua, and Jerusalem, that's just a catch phrase for all of the tribes. Okay. Wa Yarane, verse 3, or verse 20, and he showed me Ya'oh, Arabai Harashem, for the English says carpenters, it can be craftsmen or artists, artisans, for artisans, let's say, artisans. Verse 4, Wa Amar, then I said, Ma Allah, what are these? Ba'em, the ones coming, Lagashoth, to do. So what are these coming to do, he says. And the angel replies, Well, Ya Amar, La Amar, and he said, saying, Allah, these Ha-Karanoth, the horns, Ashar Zaro, which scatter off Yehuda, Kape, Kape,
according to the word.
According to the words, or according to Aish, no man or each man, La Nash Ra'asho.
So that the man doesn't lift his head up.
So the four horns, their job is to come and oppress, afflict the nation, right? So that no man is able to lift up his head. No man, what does that mean? To lift up the head is a metaphor for what?
For being dignified. Feeling dignified?
Dignified, right? Someone who can't lift up their head is always coming up short in life, always failing, nothing to be proud of because everything is not working. Everything he puts his hand to do, it turns to crap. Okay, that's what the four horns come to do. While Yaba'o Allah, and these will come lahachraid, to terrify or to fray, to cause terror, otham, to them. La Yadoth, to cast out Ath Karanoth, the horns of Ha-Goim, of the nations, Ha-Nasha'im, the ones lifting up Quran, a horn, Al, against Aratz Yehuda, against the land of Yehuda. La Zarotha, to scatter it, to scatter it. So there's four horns, and then the four horns are scattered by four artists, four artisans. But if you need four, that means the first three were what? Because the four horns aren't all working simultaneously, right? These are four successive horns. The verse says they are the horn of the nations. So each horn is a separate entity. They come in succession. And then after they do their job, then it's going to come up four artisans, not all at the same time, but successively. And then the fourth one, the fourth artisan gets the job done and gets rid of the enemy, scatters the horns so that they are no longer a threat to the people. And we've went over this a few times in class before. So some of you who have been here for a while, who would the four horns be that scatter the nation? Now remember, go ahead.
Babylonians, Assyrians, Persians, and Greeks.
Okay, so this prophet Zachar-Ya'oh, he's writing after the Babylonian exile.
Okay, so we got the Romans in place of the Babylonians, therefore Assyrians, Persians, Greeks, and Romans.
So if it's after the Babylonian exile, you're going to say Persians,
Oh,
first horn.
We got Assyria was before Babylon, right? It was Assyrian then. So we got the Medes, the Greeks, the Romans.
Yeah. And the fourth horn would be the last one, the one that's with us now. What's with us now? What's the strongest nation? What's the strongest? Yeah, well, not just Trump, but what nation is the strongest nation in the world right now?
United States of
America. So if the Persians were the first horn after the Babylonian exile, you got the Persians now. Then after that came the Greeks. Then after that came Rome, and Rome ended up collapsing and being divided by the Germanic hordes, and it became divided European states, European kingdoms, and out of that came America. America will be the fourth horn. Now we got to find out who are the four artisans who rose up in succession to fray, to scatter, to terrify the horns. And since America, if we say America is the fourth horn, then all the four artisans, when do they come on the scene? At what time in history do they come on the scene?
After 1776?
Yeah, they all are part of American history. If America is the fourth horn, then the four artisans, they will be after or subsequent to the formation of America in 1776. And no one looks at this problem. I've seen so many different people look at this and not know what the hell it means, or they come up with some crazy theory. But if we are the Israelites, so-called, Israel, Ya'oh, and America was our last captivity, and we came out of there to come to the East, then America would have to be the fourth horn. And so what four people rose up in America to terrify Americans? And they would have to be of our people. They would have to be OMPP.
Nat Turner would be.
All right, well, he wasn't the first one. Who was the first one to terrify the Americans of our people?
Nat Turner.
First one?
Oh, the first one.
Gabriel Prosser.
Thank you. Everybody hear that?
Prosser. No, who? Wait, who was first, Vesey or Prosser?
I'm pretty sure it was Prosser in 1800.
And then Denmark Vesey.
And then Vesey, wait a minute. So I'm going to write them down again. I always do this. Gabriel Prosser in 1800, he rose up and led an unsuccessful slave revolt, but it was enough to scare the shit, excuse my language, out of Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. Right. The next one after him would be Denmark Vesey. And his rebellion started in 1822.
That's right.
His slave revolt was 1822. That's Vesey.
Then Nat Turner, 1831.
Then Nat Turner in 1831. Well, actually, he started his rebellion in 1830, and then it broke out 1831. So, okay. And guess what all three of these men had in common? What was their profession?
They were all artisans.
They were all artisans, blacksmiths or smiths, all of them. So now we got to find out who's the fourth artisan. Because there has to be four. And the last one is going to be the one that does the job and destroys the fourth horn.
So it would have to be, the fourth artisan would have to be the person leading Ya'oh in the wilderness.
That's what I would say. And that's what I've been saying to people since the beginning, that, if it's not me, it has to be somebody who leads an exodus out of America to the wilderness, wherever that is, and begins the formation of the nation, sets it up, and the leaders, the tribes, the Nashe has to do all the stuff that we've been doing, right? Lay the foundation for what would be a true sovereign nation. And if he's doing it remotely, right, he's not in America. Nat Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, why did their rebellions fail?
Because they were in the heart of the beast and they were subdued.
Because they were in America and they were outnumbered. There's no way in the hell they were ever going to overthrow that situation. But the guy, the fourth horn, he succeeds because he's not doing it the way they did it. He's not relying on might and power. He's not relying on military strength. He's not relying on, arms, right? Because we read on in chapter 3, it says, "Not by might, but not by power, but by my roch," says Yahweh. So the fourth guy, he's doing it all by the roch, and he's doing it remotely. He's not even there in America, right? That's how the fourth horn is scattered and destroyed, and that's what makes the nation be able to pick its head up again and thrive. So if it's not me, it has to be somebody who does what we've been doing, right? It has to be somebody who does what we do, because we've already had three artisans rise up and terrify the oppressor. So where's the fourth one? Because the fourth one is supposed to be the end. It's supposed to bring this to an end. And then we keep reading in chapter. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and what is your artisan background?
Yeah, that's what I was. That was my profession. I was a graphic artist for many, many, many years.
There you have it.
I started out, I remember when I have a cousin who's way better than me though. My cousin Derek is a phenomenal artist, but we both started out at the same time drawing or tracing, I would say, tracing DC comics and Marvel comics. That's how we got fascinated with drawing by looking at comic books, drawing in the comic books. And I took it seriously for a while. I even got a scholarship that I didn't use for art and design. I actually went to school for business. I got a business degree. I got my football scholarship gave me I switched from art and I switched over to business and I graduated with a business degree. But when I got out of college, I couldn't land a job in business. I had to land a job as a graphic designer. So I tried to get away from design and I ended up working in graphic design after I got out of college. But my cousin, he stayed with it. He is a phenomenal. His name is Derek Warfield. If you look him up, you'll see that he's working with all those rap artists, all those mega stars, or he's designing their labels, their album covers. He does all the stuff that you see that promotion wise for these rap artists. A lot of that stuff is his. He's an amazing artist. But that's how we both got started, was drawing out of DC and Marvel comic books. All right, so that's the end. That's the fourth horn, whoever he is, he's due on the scene because we are already in the fourth. I'm sorry, the fourth artist is due on the scene because we are already in the period of the fourth horn of the prophet's vision. We've been through the Persian horn. We've been through the Greek's horn. We've been through the Romans horn, and the Romans, the Western Europe crumbled and became European states, and now the horn that's ruling the world, dominating the world, is America. And we've gone through the American horn, and we've gone through three artists in the American history. So the fourth artist is due on the scene, whoever he is. Now, if we go into chapter 2, well, it's still chapter 1 for us, and we look at this is going to be verse 5 here. Wa asha gene, I lift up my eyes. Wa hana, Aish, a man, wa bayado, and in his hand, chabal madah. a measuring line, a line for measuring. Kabal Madah. Well, Amar, and I said, Ana, whither or where, Afa you, halach, go. Whither are you going? Where are you going? That's how you say, for you guys who want to learn some basic phrases. Ana afa halach. What am I saying? Ana afa halach.
Where are you going?
Where are you going? What if I'm talking to a woman?
Ana halachat.
Ana afa lachat. So ma'at. Ana afa lachat. Where are you going? Well, ya Amar. And he said, Ale to me, Lamad, Lamad, to measure, Ath Yerushalayim, to measure Yerushalayim, Lara oath, to see, Chama, how much is the Rachaba, how much is the width, Wa Chama, and how much is the Aracha, the length. Now, is this Jerusalem a city? Because if it is, I would think the angel doesn't need to measure it. He already knows how the dimensions of the city. He doesn't need to go take measurements. So is this real? I mean, he's a vision. He's seeing a man with a measuring line in his hand. And he tells him, I'm going to go measure Jerusalem, see how broad and wide it is. Is that really literally what he's going to do? Does he need to take those measurements? I would say no. This is symbolic of the people. And the measurement is why. Why does he need to measure them? Because the remnant, there you go.
Yeah.
The remnant is the madah, the measure. And we just talked about a fourth artisan that would be the horn to be on the scene when the fourth horn is destroyed. And the other scriptures talk about the Malach Madeh, the king of my measure. And here an angel is measuring not the city, not the literal city, but the people to find out, to see how broad and how long it should be. He's talking about how many people are going to make up the remnant, right? Verse 7, Wahana. Behold.
And behold.
Hamalach, the angel, Hadabar Bay, the one speaking to me, Yats, he came forth, or he went forth, while Malach Achar and another angel, Yats, went forth, La Karatho, to meet him. Waya Amar Aleo, and he said to him, Rats, run. Right? Run. Debar al-Hanayr, speak to the young man, the prophet. Halaz, this. So Hazah and Halaz is another way of saying this young man, this young person. La Amar, saying, Parazoth. Parazoth is a town or a village that does not have a defensive barrier. It's unwalled. So unwalled towns or unwalled villages, Thashab, it will be inhabited, Yerushalayim. Morab, Adam, for a multitude of men. Wabama, and cattle, Batocha, in the midst of it. So what does that mean? Why does that one angel come out with a measuring rod? The prophet asks him, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to go measure Jerusalem to see how long and how wide it is. Then he sees another angel come out, and a third angel comes out, and they both meet each other. And one angel says to the other, go run to this guy, the prophet, and tell him this. Tell him that unwalled towns will Jerusalem be inhabited for great multitude of men and cattle in the midst thereof, or in the midst of her. But we have to crack the code here, because he's not talking about a literal city that he has to measure. And if he's not talking about a literal city, if he's talking about a remnant, and the measurement is to see how many would make it up, how many would be part of that number,
So
and
this is
why.
us.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so this is us in the mountains being fruitful and a great multitude. And because our enemies are destroyed, we don't need walled cities because we're protected.
Yeah, but look at why first I wanted to go in order. Why does he tell one angel to run to the other one? Why does he got to run? Why can't he just walk over to him?
Because it's urgent.
Okay. Why? What's so urgent about it?
Because the destruction comes quickly.
Who agrees with that? Why would he have to run to the prophet to tell him this, if just because the destruction is soon to happen? So go back to the beginning. A man comes out with a measuring line, an angel with a measuring line. The prophet asks him, where are you going? He says, I'm going to measure Jerusalem to see how wide it is and to see how long it is. That's a metaphor for I'm going to take an account to see how many people would make up the remnant. And we know now that, not counting women and children, right? And not counting toddlers, right? That number is how small? Very small. It's less than 100 people.
83 or something like that.
Yeah, 84. Less than 100 people. So that's what that process of measuring, what's he doing?
He's weeding out the
He's
bad
weeding
and
out.
only.
He's getting rid of people. He's just taking an assessment of who should be in the number, and he's weeding people out who shouldn't be there. Okay, that's what the angel is doing with the measuring rod. And then he sees another angel come out, and another angel comes out to meet him and talk to him. Two angels. This must mean something, right? Every detail means something. Two angels. And one angel says to the other, go run and tell this young man that Jerusalem will be inhabited as towns without walls, or the multitude of men and the cattle therein. Why two angels? Why does the prophet see this? One angel come out, another angel comes out to meet him, and then the other angel tells this angel to run to him. What could that exchange mean after he's measured, after the people have been measured, and we've got to a final count for who the remnant should be.
I would say that because after that, the destruction of a ball comes quickly, and so that's why the urgency.
Right, but I'm before that when it says verse 3 on my verse 7 here. He says, "Behold," that means this is something we need to pay attention to.
Right.
Hamalach the Barbe, the one speaking to me, he came forth. Well, Malach and another angel came out. So there's only two angels. One angel's measuring, one angel's talking to him. Then another comes out to meet him. And the main angel says to the one who came out to meet him, "Run to this young man and tell him such and such." So I want to know why is this third angel coming out to meet the angel that's talking to the prophet, and the prophet or the angel tells that angel to go run and say these things to the prophet? Because that detail must mean something. It's not something we should just gloss over because we don't know. We should look at that and think, rack your brain and try to think, why is the prophet being shown that little exchange? And this is coming again after the remnant, after the city, metaphorically the people, have been measured, and a number has been decided for who the remnant will be.
So can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Is it not just the fact that the angel is telling the other angel to run quickly, but the fact that there's actually three angels? Should we be looking at both of those details?
Yeah, we got the angel with the measuring line, that's one. We got the angel that's
Right.
talking to the prophet, that's two. And we got this third angel that comes out to talk to the other angel, and then he's told to go run to the prophet.
No, what I'm saying is, but there's something in the detail of the fact that there's three angels.
Okay.
Right? So we
Okay.
should be looking at two. So what I'm saying is, should we be looking at two details, not just the fact that the third angel was told to run to the prophet, but the fact that there are three angels on the scene?
Okay. That's true.
Is that true? Okay. Okay.
So one angel is measuring, one angel is the one talking to the prophet, the speaker. And then a third angel comes out and he's told to run to like the prophet already has a guy, he's already talking to an angel, but another angel is supposed to relay this message to him. We got the measurer, we got the talker, and then we got the runner who delivers the message to the prophet that Jerusalem will be inhabited, prosperous with men and cattle, so forth. Why three? And why the different roles? If we are, if we are the remnant, this shouldn't be that hard to look at our history. It's not that long. Our history is pretty short. And to see, okay, the measuring, that's already happened, right? The measurements have been taken, right?
Fine.
Or are the measurements still in process? So is the angel still measuring? Or would you say the angel is done measuring?
Well, one notion is that a vow shall fall only once the Exodus is over. So, are we able to consider the Exodus is over?
Okay. That would mean the measuring would be finished when there's no more Exodus. The Exodus is done.
Fine.
Okay. So then let's assume the Exodus is done.
But
Then what
but
comes after that? What's the second thing?
but
Go ahead.
could we also hypothesize that the measuring had already been done and then the
Done when?
Exodus like done at say a priori to begin with the angels establish who is supposed to go and who doesn't and who not, and then the people just go according to their time or the time that's been established. Whatever.
Nabe, you taught that the measuring doesn't begin in Matrem, it begins in Madbar.
Exactly.
And we're still in progress. And the angel hastily to get the information to you, usually what I'm gathering is in preparation. It has to be done in a specific time frame.
In a specific order?
And an order, yes.
Okay.
And that's what I'm gathering so far. We're still in the progress of separating the wheat from the chaff.
Remember now, the prophet is in literal Jerusalem. He's back from the exile. They are in Jerusalem.
Come.
So when he sees the first angel come out with the measuring line and he says, "Where are you going?" And he says, "I'm going to Jerusalem." Wait a minute. We are standing in Jerusalem right now. We're literally in Jerusalem right now in this vision. So what do you mean? Where are you going? We're already here. He says, "I'm going to measure Jerusalem." So Jerusalem, this Jerusalem in verse 2 or in verse 6 in my book is not physical. It's not the literal Jerusalem. It's something else. It's something where he has to go.
It's the people.
Right, but where are those people? Are they in the land?
No, they're in Madbar.
No. They're in the wilderness. The remnant is being measured in the wilderness.
Come.
That's the Jerusalem that he's going to measure, the one that's in the wilderness. And he's going to measure, meaning he's going to, make a cut to see who belongs in that group.
Trim the fat.
Yep.
I have a question. So is that almost also like the parable of the foolish virgins versus the 5 wise?
Yeah.
Bathola?
Yeah, it's like that.
Shalom.
So the measurement is taking place in the wilderness. This is not the literal city he's measuring. He's measuring people to see who belongs into the remnant group. And then, go ahead.
Yeah, Zachar-Ya'oh and I were talking about this yesterday on the way to his house. And we're saying the time is short because right now the house is divided. You have to separate the wheat from the chaff. And like you spoke before in class, the father can't give the keys of the business to children that will keep the business going, and then the other children who will be foolish with it. So it's a process that's getting ready to happen shortly. So that, in other words, we have to trim the fat. So that's what we were speaking on yesterday, which I think aligns up to what you were saying right now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
No, I know. I hear you.
But the haste, to me, I don't know. I just keep feeling in my rope that whenever you have to do something quickly, that means you have to get it done in a specific time frame. At the same time, when we did the first Exodus and we had to make bread without yeast, we had to do it hastily. We had a time frame to get out of Matrem Akkad. So it's the same thing now, I believe, that we have to prepare, and the messenger or the angel that brought the message, the two the prophet, which I believe is the ravenous bird, prepare yourselves. You have to do the work of separation. It's made light that the analogy I gave Bakor yesterday is you can't sweep your floor in the dark. So who turned on the light? It was Ya'oh. So now you can see the dirt that you have to sweep up. But you have to sweep it. So we have to trim the fat before we can be fortified. Because we can't be a divided house. Am I close?
Yeah, but you're exactly right. You're still talking about the first angel.
Okay. That's what I'm gathering why the third angel had to tell the prophet in haste, because these things are upon us now, where, as you always said in classes before that, we're very, very close. And the signs are there, all the signs that had passed. So we're very close. But now things are being brought to light and we're seeing things, that have to be corrected.
Well, what's the message of the runner? The message of the runner is not get ready. The message of the runner is it's done. Now Jerusalem is going to be inhabited, and they'll be, they won't have any worries. They won't need defensive walls, and it'll be lots of people and lots of animals. So the message that's being delivered in haste is not get ready. It's hey, it's time now.
Oh, okay. Now I see. Okay, yes.
Shalom, Avin. Oh,
Shalom.
Shalom.
yeah, Shalom, Avin. I'm not trying to eisegete into the text, but could it be the reason why there's a rush because the sudden destructions has happened, and it's time for the remnant to live in the vein of the message of the third angel? Could it be the haste is to do with the sudden destruction?
Yeah.
Is that the reason why he's running in haste, because of the sudden destruction that's happened? Now it's time for your Yerushalayim to live in the vein of the message. Is that the reason for the running and under haste?
Yeah, if you turn to there's a tie-in to this in Yeshayahu, and it is, I'll find it really quick. Keep your finger there.
And also, while you're finding it, could it be also because the first angel is speaking about measuring, and after that's done, then the third angel is to run in haste, which would that then imply after the measuring is done, then it's going to be a quick sudden destruction, and then straight away it's going to be Yerushalayim living in the vein of the message of the third angel.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get everyone to look at is these angels are not all doing this all at the same time. There's the measuring that's finished. And then there is this meeting of two angels. They're meeting. One angel comes out to meet one, and then whatever the message is, well, we know what it is. The other angel says, now run and go tell this to the prophet. So something happened between the meeting, between the measuring and this guy, the other angel running to the prophet. Something happened, something dramatic happened. That's why the guy's running to bring this good news.
So the two angels meeting signify the destruction of Babal.
Okay.
And after that, that's why the angel was told to run, because the destruction has happened, and now
Turn to Yeshayahu 66. and look at verse 8. It's okay to use the filthy English for right now.
Who has heard such a thing?
Yeah.
Who has seen such things? Shall the earth be made to give birth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Sion was in labor, she gave birth to her children.
So this is, I mentioned this verse before, but when a woman goes into labor, that means she's going into the final throes of giving birth, and she's under duress. It's only a short time. She's not, some women can be in labor for hours, days, I think sometimes. But her labor is so quick, and not only does she bring forth the baby, but she brings forth a nation. Instantly, she brings forth a nation. What does that look like? As soon as she travailed, she brought forth in one day, at once, a nation shall be born at once. And that's what the urgency is of the third angel. The third angel is told to run to tell the prophet now symbolizing, or metaphorically speaking, the remnants that's already been measured, that now it's time to be a nation with your own city and live in security. And now you can begin to multiply. Now you begin to have, all those animals and resources that you need at that point. So the measuring takes place. That measuring is done. Then the next thing is supposed to take place is the meeting of the two angels. And one angel tells the angels to relay the message to the prophet. That's the guy running to tell the prophet what it is. So between the first and the third angel, something happened. Something dramatic must have happened. Something incredible must have happened. Because when you're just measuring people and deciding who's going to be in the group, right? And that folk right there don't have no place to stay yet. They don't have really no place to call home yet. They're still being measured and assessed. But once the measuring and assessment is done, now what? Where do they go? They got nowhere to go. But something happens after that. And the angel, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the angel that was talking to the prophet is not aware of what the other angel is going to tell him. The other angel comes out to tell him something. They come out and meet together, and he tells him something. And then he says, run and tell that to the prophet. What happened between the first and the third angel? Obviously, we know it should be the destruction of Babylon, the destruction of our enemy, and now the time for our nation to rise, to begin to prosper and be successful. So what is this other angel coming? I mean, I know it says angel, but why does it need to be an angel coming out to tell another angel that something has happened? What does that second angel really symbolize? Why do you need a second angel to come out to tell this other angel what just happened, or what's something that's happened? And then the angel that's talking says, "Go tell the prophet, run and go tell the prophet now that Jerusalem will be inhabited. Now Jerusalem will be prosperous and all that stuff." What does that second angel really represent? The first angel is not really a man measuring people. It's just the process of measuring and deciding the remnant. The second angel must be what?
The remnant?
No, the first angel is measuring the remnant. The second angel is going to do something else on behalf of the remnant.
Destroy a ball.
Oh, destroy a ball.
So the second angel is a symbol or is a metaphor for what? It's a metaphor for the rock.
Hokab, yep.
It's a metaphor for what happens to a ball. It's a metaphor for that event, that destruction that we know is going to be caused by a rock from heaven to destroy that whole city instantly in the blink of an eye. That's the angel that comes out to meet the other angel. And then when that happens, the other angel says, now you run and go tell the prophet, now it's time for Jerusalem to be inhabited, right? It means now it's time for Jerusalem to become a nation in a single day. Verse 5, or it's going to be verse 9 if you're in the English. Verse 9, Wa'ane, and I laha.
I was to her.
I will be to her.
To her.
Na'am Ya'oh.
Says Yahweh.
Chamoth Ash, a wall of fire. Sabeb.
Roundabout.
Wala Chabod.
For glory.
And for glory.
I
will be.
Bathocha.
I will be in the midst of her.
The midst of her. Something happened. Something dramatic happened between the measuring of the people and then now this time when Yahweh says, now I'm going to dwell with her and be a wall of fire. They don't need physical walls. They might build them, but they don't need them because I am now going to be a wall of fire in the glory in the midst of her. This never happened after the exile in the 6th century. Never happened. So this is how we know he's talking about what's going to happen to the remnant that's gathered in the wilderness by that fourth artisan, the fourth artisan who destroys the fourth horn. Verse 10 or verse 6 in your English.
Does this also signify the tabernacle was built?
It can't be built until we have the destruction
Right.
of Baal. It will be built after
well, that. I know, but I'm saying after.
Oh yeah. When the glory he will be built, well, him dwelling in the midst of us means he's gonna let us build his house. Absolutely. Yeah. Ho-A. Woe. Naso Ma'arats, flee from the land of Tzapon, the north. Na'am Ya'oh. For like the 4 rochot winds, Hashemem of the heavens, Parashte, I have spread you, Afchem, I have spread you, Na'am Ya'oh. Ho'e, woe, Seon, Zion. Ha-Malate, deliver yourself. Deliver yourself. Ha-Shabath, the one that dwells, Bath Babal. Now, I love this. I love this because Babylon, the ancient Babylon, is already destroyed. So why is he telling people, why is this prophet telling people now that they should flee from the daughter of Babylon? Why is he saying, whoa, like you need to get the hell out of this? Woe means it's danger. Flee out. There's no more danger from ancient Babylon in the prophet's time. Babylon was already destroyed was conquered by the Persians. They're now under the Persian Empire. So who is he talking about? The daughter of Babal, folks need to flee to. Obviously, we know he's talking about that fourth horn. He's talking about America. And he's telling them they need to flee out of the land of the north. That's where America is situated, in the northern regions, right? And deliver yourself by fleeing. Because those folks, or at least the remnant of those folks, they will be the ones measured by the angel. They will be the ones told or will experience that second angel bringing that destruction. And then the third angel telling the angel to go run to us and say, now is the time for you guys to be a nation. Now the destruction has happened. Now you're getting your spoils. Now it's time to rise up. And now Yahweh will be a wall of fire around you and the glory in the midst of you. So verse 6 is talking about those people that are being measured in verse 1 and 2. or verses 3 or 5 and 6 in my verse. For thus says Ya'oh, Tsabaoth, Achar, after Chabod, after the glory, Shalach Ne. After the glory,
I was saying,
Shalach Ne is I have sent.
I have sent,
Or
right?
he
So
has sent. He has sent Ne. Who's Ne? Me. He has sent me, Al Hagoim, against the nations, Hashlalem, the ones who spoil, Afcham you. Che Hanagai, for the one who touches Bacham, you, and the guy he touches Bababath, the pupil, or the it says in the English apple, I think it means pupil. Bababath Cheno, of his eye. Who's speaking in verse 12?
prophet.
Zechariah? Zechariah was
Oh
sent
no,
against the nations that spoiled the nation.
this is the.
The speaker
Oh
in
no,
verse 12,
this has.
Zechariah wrote it, but he's writing for somebody. He's writing for the fourth artist. He's writing for the fourth artist. The fourth artist is the one sent against the fourth horn that scatters it, destroys it. That's what initiates the redemption of this nation. And the reason why he says I was sent against these nations because they spoiled you. And he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. Verse 11, verse 13. Chehanane, for behold, I, Manep af yadeh, I will wave my hand Ghaleham, over them or against them. Waheo, and they will be Shalal, a spoil, La Chabadehem, to the ones who served them. Wayadaitham, then you will know Che-Ya'oh, that Ya'oh Tsabaoth, Shalach Ne, sent me. So this guy, his only weapon against the nations is what?
Waving his hand.
Waving his hand. What's that going to do? What is that going to do? Are you kidding me? That's all he has? Waving his hand? And that's going to destroy the nations that spoiled you? And then you will know, he says, that Yahweh sent me when that happens? He don't have tanks. He don't have jets. He don't have submarines. He don't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. All he's doing is waving his hand.
He has music.
Yeah, and what are one of the reasons people wave their hand?
It started.
Because there's music.
Khan.
There's songs.
That's like a conductor waving his hand.
Oh yeah, or he's a conductor, he's orchestrating.
Khan.
Rane Washamache Bath-Seon. Sing and rejoice, daughter of Seon. Che, for Hanane, behold, I come. Washachante, and I will dwell, but Thocham, in the midst of you, Naam Ya'oh. This is a promise he's making, and we have to stand on that promise. He's telling you to rejoice when? After the destruction? He's telling you to rejoice before it even happens. He's telling you to sing as if it's already happened. He's telling you to be happy even in the midst of your pain, while you're getting labor, rejoice. Because he's promised, I will come and I will dwell in the midst of you. Next line is 15. Wanalo'o goem rabem, and they will join themselves, many people, al Ya'oh, to Ya'oh, bayom ha'ho, in that day. Waheo, and they will be lay, mine. Lacham, for a people, for a nation. Wa shechante, and I will dwell, bathocha, in the midst of you. Wayadaitha, or Wayadaith, it's feminine, Zion is feminine. You will know, Che-Ya'oh Tzabaoth, Shalachne, sent me, Alecha, to you. That's the fourth artist again, talking. Right? The fourth artist has to say this because all he's got is his hand. He's waving his hand, and to a lot of folks, that's going to look pretty stupid and silly, right? That's all you got? You mean you don't even have a pistol? You don't even have a pistol. But he's going to wave his hand over the nations that spoiled us, and that's going to destroy them. And then when that happens, he says, then Yadaitha Che-Ya'oh Tzabaoth Shalachne Alecha. Then you will know that Yahweh has sent me to you. Why does he say that? Because it won't look like that, or it won't look like that to everybody. It won't look like he was sent from Yahweh in the beginning to everybody. A lot of folks will be like, nah, I don't think so. But when this happens, when this destruction happens, then you will know. Then you will know.
That's the same phrase that Yahweh told Moshe when Moshe asked him his name. And he said, say unto the children, and he told him his name, Shalachne Aleichem.
Yeah, something like that. Not quite word for word, not verbatim. Wanachal Ya'oh Ath Ya'odah, and he will inherit Ya'odah. Chalako. And Yehuda is not just that one tribe. This represents the whole 13 tribes. Chalako, his portion. Gal Adamath, upon the land Hakadash, set apart. Wabachar God, and he will choose again Yerushalayim, the people. Has, shut up or be quiet. Call Bashar, all flesh. Mapane Ya'oh, from before Ya'oh. Che Naior, he is raised up my own from out of Khadar, his place. What does that mean? The servant is sent with this message that Yahweh is going to stand up out of his holy place and make the whole world shut up. When Babylon is destroyed, the whole world will be dumbfounded and in silence. Because now Yahweh has stood up, broke his silence, centuries of being silent, centuries of not doing anything, not showing his true power. But in the days of the fourth artisan, in the days of the fourth horn, after three artisans have come and gone to terrify the enemy, the fourth artisan is the one who is on the scene when America is destroyed. He's the one that brings the people into the wilderness and where they are measured to get down to the correct number of the remnant. And then right after that's done, an angel comes out from heaven to meet the angel that's on earth talking to the prophet. And whatever they say, whatever little conversation they have, one angel says, now you go run and tell this young man that Jerusalem will now be inhabited and da 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 da. Because the destruction has just happened, and now it's time for Jerusalem to rise. And the warning in verse 5 or verse 9 to flee from the land of the north, again, it's the same warning that triggered the Exodus. Deliver yourself. And I always told folks, yeah, he will help you, but you have to help yourself. You have to be proactive. If he sees that you really want it and you're chasing after him, unless you're in prison, there's nothing you can do. But if there's things that you can do to get here, he will make up the difference and get you here. And then we will see what the price is for the nations who put their hands on us. We will see what that looks like. But it will be a guy who's just waving his hand. No military behind him, no tanks, no aircraft carriers, no nothing. All he's doing is waving his hand. And then you will know that Yahweh sent him. And then many people will join themselves to Yahweh. Of course they will when they see that. And they know who's responsible. They're going to look to you. That's why I tell the men at every siege. The sieges aren't for Yahweh. Yeah, he likes to see it. He wants us to praise and worship him. He wants us to prophesy. But the sieges are also shaping the men, teaching them to be consistent, disciplined, teaching them to be on time, teaching them the things that they're going to need if they're going to step into the position of, the new sheriff in town. The new sheriff has got to be qualified. I'm not going to give you the keys of my business if I don't think you can run it. You got to show me that you can run it, or that you're willing to do what's necessary to run it. So that's why we siege. One of the reasons why we siege is because it is painful, it is uncomfortable. But that's what builds character. That's what builds and shapes the men that he's looking for.
Shalom, Nabi.
Shalom.
In this, the man who waves his hand, is there something in his hand as he's waving?
Yep, there is.
I know what it is.
The Mata Masoda, it's mentioned in Ha-Shabath. He's carrying a staff.
And he just put it on my heart to say that. Shalom.
Yep. So that's it. I'll stop there. Any questions? Ya'oh Shob.
Shalom, shalom. This last line is very telling. That's because I've been thinking a lot about, okay, if Babel gets destroyed, at the amount of, I would suppose, like, those who are in bed with her will be destroyed as well, the likes of Europe and all the allies that she has. But remember, she also has enemies. I was thinking, with her being removed, like, for example, the enemies of Israel won't have anybody to be afraid of to go and delete her, and Russia might rise up and China might rise up. But this last line kind of tells you, that the whole world is going to be silent. You would agree with that statement, right?
Yeah, because you're not going to stop with America. He's gonna destroy all the nations of the world.
So that would mean then the destruction of the world. As soon as Babel falls, there's not going to be a pause. It's really, the destruction of Babel is just the beginning of a quick, non-stop ripple effect.
Well, he's going to destroy Babel, and that will be, once you remove the police, the world's policeman, then all anarchy and chaos will break out, and Yahweh is going to make these nations go to war with each other and destroy each other.
All right. Okay. So, go carry on.
No, go ahead.
Now, another question is not on this topic. It's something I had asked during the week, and I just remembered about it. It's about Masha. The scripture says that, Yahweh distinguishes Masha because he deals with him face to face.
Yeah.
But throughout the scriptures, you see, it will say that Yahweh said this and Yahweh said that. And it seems like it's an instant situation, like the example I gave. I think it is in either Yahushua chapter 8 or Yahushua chapter 9, is when they are the second time when they're going back to defeat Hare, and they were doing the ambush. And Yahushua is with so if I remember correctly, the armies of Yahushua are encamped in the north, and the ambush is in the west. And Hare thought, okay, it's going to be like how it was last time. Let's go after Yahushua. Yahushua with the armies ran away. And then as they're running away, all of the men of Hare, pursue them. And then the ambush who were pitching, who were, I guess, hidden in the west, ran into the city and burnt. And then as that was going on, Ya'o said to Yahushua, lift up your hand and lift up your spear and point towards the city. And he did that. And it says later on that he did that until everything was done practically.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just wondering how, because that sounds like a sudden kind of command and a sudden reaction. How would he have received that command? Would it be a voice in his head? Would it be a sign and he just knew what it was? How would, because obviously he's not dealing with him face to face like Masha did. So how would
No,
that
it would have
how
been
would that come about?
it would have been a voice in his head.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have
Okay.
definitely been a voice. He probably was either in a trance or he had a flash vision. It would have been a voice in
Okay.
his mind, in his head.
Okay. All right. Shalom.
Yeah. Base Abano.
Shalom, my Ben. So right now I'm in the interlinear, and I just see that the interlinear goes up to verse 13, but it's the same line. So um where the rest of this verse come from? Like the rest of the verses.
Okay, my chapter 2, as I said, my chapter 2 is actually chapter 1, verse 18. Starts at chapter 1, verse 18.
All right, Khan.
So my verse 13 is verse 17 of chapter 2 in the English Bibles. So my verse 13 here, I'm sorry, my verse 17, what I'm calling verse
Yes, 13.
17
It's 13 on
is
interlinear.
yeah, verse 13.
And is that based off Dead Sea Scrolls or the Septuagint?
No, it's the I believe it's the same order that's the Westminster Leningrad text. I believe it's the same as that. And that's the one I followed when I decided how was I going to divide the chapters. I didn't go by the King James. I didn't want to use the King James.
Yeah, like this is a master. I'm going off the interlinear, which
Dead
I
Sea
believe is
Scrolls doesn't have chapter and number divisions. Just one big, it's all one big
Khan.
sentence.
But the interlinear is based from the Masoretic, Khan.
Yeah, the interlinear. No, the interlinear is based off of the King James.
Oh,
Like the Strongs, the Blue Letter, that's the King James.
interesting. Shalom.
So anybody else?
Shalom, Abin. I have a question for you. Is is it wrong for me to say the 13 tribes of Israel versus 12? And the only reason why I say 13 is pretty much to spark off conversation. Because in reality, there are 13. It's just like you say, the ways amongst all the tribes. Is it wrong to say the 13 tribes?
No, it's not wrong. As long as you clarify what you mean.
Okay.
The Loa is an odd 13 tribe out. That's all.
Okay. Shalom.
Anybody else?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Is Moose clean?
Is who?
Moose.
Oh, moose. Is the moose a clean animal? Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have the split hoof, and it eats only foliage. So yeah, it would be clean.
Shalom. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Shalom, a big quick question. So I know that we're not allowed to consume the beef, the fat, or the blood of an animal. But I recall that somebody was selling the beef tallow. And isn't
Yeah.
that beef tallow considered beef fat?
I don't think it's fat. I don't think it's all fat. I'm not sure. I gotta look up. Maybe I'm wrong. I forgot what beef tallow is. Um, Hold on. Let me a second. Let me Google it because I have a history of forgetting
The
stuff.
beef tallow of wasalak kalema bean.
Shalom.
The beef tallow is fat that they use, the fat of the beef, and they melt it down. They cook it, and it melts down, and then you got the tallow,
Oh,
the
so the
fat of the
the the
beef.
fat is basically burnt away.
So if it's an
It
oil, like
became
from
like
using,
the oil, yeah. It
so
became like
And
the
all you
oil.
have all you have left is the oil that when it cools, it becomes a solid.
and when we,
Yeah, yeah.
is someone
That's
allowed
it.
to eat from something cooked from there?
I mean, yeah, the law is don't eat the fat, but obviously, if you're eating meat that's from an animal, there's going to be some residue of fat in that meat. But
Yeah.
just don't make the fat part of the menu.
Now,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
understand that part. Like, you don't eat like a little crumb of fat there. That's not a problem. It's like when you deliberately eat the whole fat.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm asking for, like, let's say beef tallow, that's beef oil, that's the fat, and it's turned to oil. If I was to cook from there, or will I be able to cook, consume something cooked from it? If my question makes sense.
I think what he's saying is that there is oil in fat. So when you boil it, you're destroying the fat, and all that's left is just the oil. Is that right?
I guess so.
Because fat is not just fluid. There's a substance to it. So when you cook it, you're burning away the fat, and all that's left is the oil. So you would call it animal fat, but it's not. It would be high in saturated fat and oils, skins, unsaturated fat. No, wait a minute. Due to skin oil, vitamins. I gotta look. I don't want to render it. I can't. I'm not gonna say right now. Let me look at this because I haven't really looked at it carefully enough.
Wasalakale.
Shalom.
Shalom. Well, beef fat. When you render tallow, it's just the oils off the fat.
That's what I said.
Yep, that's all it is. And when you're rendering it, the fat that does not melt is the stuff that you can't eat because
Okay.
that's just straight fat.
Okay.
But
Then
everything else
there's
in
your
the
answer.
oil.
That would be your answer then.
Shalom.
Wait.
Just a quick clarification. We can eat duck, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Shalom, man. I got a question.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so talking about the beginning of the earth and the heavens and stuff like that. Around the firmament, is there a bubble? Um, I think you mentioned that before, that there, outside the firmament is a bubble. And maybe that's where the notion of the earth as a globe comes from.
No, no. The Earth being a globe comes from the Greeks who were trying to measure things, and they looked at the sun and the moon and saw that they were spheres, and so they concluded that they must be walking on one. And so what they did is they took measurements of shadows from the sun and from different locations, and the degrees of that shadow suggested to them that um, that the Earth would be curved in order to make a shadow here that's not the same angle at another location. That angle would then indicate the curvature of the Earth. The problem is that they were assuming that sunlight hits the Earth parallel. All rays from the sun hit the Earth parallel. And so they thought, well, if there's a shadow here but not over there, it must be curved. When the real answer is no, the sun rays are coming in at angles. So yeah, over here they may not be a shadow because the sun is directly overhead, but over there, where the sun is not directly overhead, you get a shadow. So it's not that the Earth is round; it's just that the sun rays are not coming in parallel. But that's the Greeks. That's how they got around. That's how the world became a ball. But the firmament, I don't believe the firmament is a dome or bubble. I think it's all layers of different gases, flat layers. It may bulge because we know that light refracts when it passes through a medium. So, for example, say I'm in New York and it's 10 a.m., right? And I'm looking up at the sun. It's at a certain height in the sky. It's 10 a.m. where I am. Somewhere else in the world, it's noon and the sun is directly overhead at 90 degrees, right? The sunlight from 90 degrees to me is going to pass through the atmosphere to get to my location. It's going to pass through the atmosphere. And when it does, the light will be bent. Refraction will bend that light. And therefore, my sun will look lower in the sky than someone else's sun. Everybody will experience the sun differently depending on how far away they are from being directly underneath it. And that's because the atmosphere is bending the light. Just like if you look if you ever go swimming, right? Some of you guys, you know this. If you're in the water and the sun hits the water, when you're underwater, it's going to bend. It's going to go to it's going to change direction. So when the sunlight's passing through the gases of the atmosphere, it also bends. It's called refraction. It's just called refraction. But that's not to say that the atmosphere above us is a bubble. I don't think it is. I think it's just layers of gases, all flat layers of gases. Gases are fluids, so that's why the scripture says that there's waters above and waters below, because gases are water. They are a form of water, just in a gas state.
Shalom,
Okay.
Mabay.
So,
And one other example of that, and this is something that's really easily observable, is like if you took a coin and threw it into a fountain or a 4 foot deep pool, and you go to reach down to grab that coin, it's not in the same place where you see it.
yeah, exactly. Refraction. Everyone understands that until they want to talk about the Earth being a ball. Oh no, there's no refraction. Wait a minute, hold on. There's refraction when you want it to be, but not when you don't want it to be. No, the Earth is flat, and the sun we see is not necessarily the real sun. What we're seeing is an apparent sun, unless you are directly underneath it or not far from that. If you're not far from the radius of the subsolar point directly underneath the sun, what you are seeing is a refracted sun at different angles because the light is passing through the atmosphere. And that's why you can't triangulate the location of the sun. Everyone's getting a different angle because they're not seeing, if they're not close to where it's directly overhead, they're not seeing the real sun.
All right, shalom for that. And like, do you have like some type of PDF or maybe a drawing rendering, like, the basic stuff, like the firmament or like the
No,
earth itself?
I have to make one. I had some old ones, but I was using pretty much what flat earthers are doing, and I stopped using them because the flat earthers are all over the place. Sacred geometry and Anunnaki and planet Nibiru, and there's more land past Antarctica that they're hiding from us and all this crap. So I stopped using their illustrations and you know, I gotta make my own, and I haven't done that yet.
Ah, Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. Anybody else? Did you work for Marvel? No, I didn't. I wish I did. I just drew. I bought and read a lot of comic books growing up as a kid. If I still had those comic books, I would be filthy rich. I threw them away, not knowing their value, how they would get that more valuable with age. Can you please go over split Thorah about eating an animal fat for clarity? Does it? Oh, you want me to go over the law about fat, not eating fat? I see. Okay.
Particular, not the whole chapter, but just that specific, because I was looking it up while y'all were talking about it, and while I understand what rendered means,
You there? Is she still there? So she's talking about Thor 3, chapter 3, Leviticus chapter 3, verse 17, where the law says, should I pull it up? Yeah, I pull it up. I hope she comes back. Chapter 3 and verse 17. It shall be a statute forever to your generations. B'chol in all moshavtechem in all your dwellings. Chol chalav, all the fat. B'chol dam and all the blood. La b'chalam, not you will eat. And the way I look at that law, it's not saying not a smidgen of fat shall ever enter your mouth, or never a smidgen of blood shall ever enter your mouth, right? Because if you cut your finger, the first thing you do is you put your finger in your mouth to stop the bleeding. You're sucking the blood, stop the bleeding. Is that against the law? No. You're just trying to stop the blood. What is against the law is if you were to make a meal and a side dish will be a side of blood and another side dish will be a side of fat. That's the law says don't do. But when you're cooking, there's obviously going to be some residue of fat in your food if it's meat, and some residue of blood in the food. It's impossible to get rid of it all. Try as hard as you can.
Shalom. I'm sorry. I was kicked out, so I don't know exactly what all you said.
I just
I got
read Leviticus 3:17.
okay. Well, I could just go back and listen to the recording.
No, it was real quick what I said. I said, this is a statute forever to your generations. B'chol moshavtechem, and all your dwellings. Chol chalab, all the fat. B'chol dam, and all the blood. La ta'chalo, not you will eat, not you will consume. And my interpretation of that is not saying that there should never ever be a smidgen of fat in your mouth, or there should never ever be a drop of blood in your mouth, because like say if you cut your finger, you get a paper cut on your finger, your instinct is to put your finger in your mouth to stop the bleeding, to suck the blood, stop bleeding. That's not what the law is against. What the law is against is if you were to have a meal and a side dish will be blood and another side dish would be a lump of fat. That's what the law is saying don't do. But when you're cooking meat, there's going to be some residue of blood in the meat and some, you do your best to get rid of it the best you can. But try as hard as you can. You're never going to get all of blood out that meat. There's going to be a little bit of some blood in there. That's fine because you're not trying to eat blood. You're not
Shalom, my
trying to
man.
make shalom.
I'm sorry.
Go
my
ahead.
grandmother used to tell us stories when she was young about them having blood pudding, pig's
Yeah,
blood
see?
pudding. And
Yeah,
that's,
mine too.
and that's what they ate. And they ate fat, like just fat. They would like, yeah, like somebody didn't like fat, they would give their fat to somebody else, and that person would just eat the fat.
Right.
So it's not even like the oil from the fat; it's the actual fat cells
Yeah.
from the animal, and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying? That's how our people grew up in America, and that's just the thing we're not
So
supposed
you
to
know,
do.
like when we have a steak. So when we have a steak,
Have
and
the West Indian.
I remember way back when you were talking about eating fat, that like on a steak where sometimes people like a steak or they want brisket and it's being barbecued. You know how there's the marble part of the brisket where it has that fat going all the way through it. So is that okay or that's not okay?
I don't know about brisket. I don't think I've ever had that. But yeah, if I order a steak and I see a big chunk of fat on the side, I'm gonna cut that off. But I'm obviously not gonna get all of it off. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what
But
I
in a
mean.
piece of brisket on the marble side of the brisket, because if I don't know, you said that you've never, you're not used. But some
I don't
people
think I
might
have.
know what I'm
I don't
talking
think.
about. When
Yeah.
you get a hand slab of brisket, and usually you can cut it, slice it through the middle of it, and on one side of it, it's like this meatier part or juicier part of the brisket that has fat just going all the way through it. But then on the other side is the lean part.
Let me get a picture.
So
I need a visual. Um, I need a visual. I can't.
Wasalatalemadane.
Okay, so here's a
So
picture of brisket. Let me share this on the screen and you tell me, is this what you're referring to
okay.
here? Get out of the way. That that piece of fat
You see,
running through the middle?
okay, so you see where in the middle of the brisket it looks like there's a line.
Yeah.
So you can usually, if the brisket is cooked really, really well, you could just take a knife and just slide it through there. It'll just slide like butter. And on
Yeah.
one side of it is part of it where I don't know if you can really see it. I can't really make it big. Oh, okay. So if you enlarge that on one side, you can't really tell on this one, but I'm not talking about the piece that's right in the middle. But on
Okay.
one side, literally one side of that brisket is lean meat, and on the other side is the fattier meat, where it has fat going all the way through it. It's
Ah,
almost
okay.
like a spring kind of.
So brisket is supposed to have fat in the meat. That's what you're saying. Brisket is
Well,
that's the thing about brisket. Brisket is meat with fat still in it, like soaked through the meat, right?
right,
So
right. But there is
I've never
there is
had
parts of
brisket.
the brisket where there is part of the brisket where, say, on the top of it, where you see that top part of it,
Yeah,
literally, it'll be nothing but
nothing but
through
fat.
the yeah, it's nothing but fat on the
So
top
like,
of that. But through that top piece that you see there, it's totally different than just the fat that's laying on top of this brisket.
Yeah. No, me, to be honest, I wouldn't eat that. I would cut away the fat. I would only eat the meaty part, and I would not eat the fat part. It looks like when you
Okay,
cut
wait,
it,
wait, wait,
when
wait.
you do
Okay,
that,
so when you say that,
you're
okay,
saying
wait, wait.
that
Let me make sure that this is
you're saying that one half of this brisket is meat, and the other half is fat all the way through the meat.
yes.
shalom,
It's
mother.
like put in marbled brisket and see if
All right,
and see if
let
another
me
part comes from just marbled.
let me do that marbled brisket. I, I never
So
had
there's
brisket.
there's two parts to the brisket. You got the point and you got the flat. The part that you're showing in the picture right now is the flat. The part that she's talking about is the point where there's fat marble through
There
the
we
entire
go.
part of the. So if you cut
Look at
it,
this fucking
you
picture.
can cut some of the fat off when it's uncooked. But once it's cooked, a lot of that fat, is almost
Gone.
like tallow and milk as it's cooking.
Ah, okay. All
If
right.
you
So
cook, if you see what I mean? That first and that second picture kind of gives a better, especially the second one.
this
The
one over
second
here,
one, the
where my
second one
pointer
gets a
is, that
better
one,
picture of it.
this one, where
Yes,
my
that
pointer
gives
is,
a better picture of what I'm talking. Yes, that one at the bottom. Well,
this one.
the one you were just clicking on. That would yes.
I would never eat
Ah,
that. I would never eat that. What the hell is that?
okay, wait. First of all, that the dark part of it, if you were to remove that before you cooked it, you would just get dry meat. And the only
Okay.
reason why I know this is because I worked in barbecue places. So,
Okay.
like all that you see that's black, that's just the fat that was cooking because brisket takes a long time to cook. So,
Okay.
um, all that's doing is just cooking that so that it won't dry out the meat as it's cooking. It has to be there. But what you do is once it's finished cooking, it just slides off. It's fat. But that top part, you can't see it in this one. This is not the one I want you to click on, but uh, you can't really see it on this one.
I can honestly
Let
say
me
I've never
see.
had brisket now that you're showing me this. I never had it. This looks like something I've had. Smooth. This one right here looks like something I may have had in my lifetime at some point. Um,
I'm trying to see. Oh. Okay, this picture. Well, I wish you could see which one I'm pointing to. Okay, so third line, third one over.
third line. This one, third one, or
Hold on.
this
You moved it now. It's at the end.
this one.
Second line at the end. Second line at the
Now
end.
you got to keep going downward, I
S-
think.
Second line at the end. To
Yes,
my
that
right or
one.
to my left? This one? Okay,
That
this
one
one.
right there. Click on it.
What the hell is that?
Brisket, like what I'm talking about. Okay, now you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I see
This
it
is
now.
marbled. This is marbled meat,
Yeah,
and it literally has like kind of fat going through the whole thing. Now the top
yeah.
part that you see there has to be on there while you're cooking it. That'll just slide right off. But that other part, you cannot get that out of that meat.
Yeah, that doesn't even look like something I would want to eat.
Nope.
Well, that particular piece, whoever made that, it don't look that good. But
Yeah. So yeah, if the fat is still there, like it hasn't been melted away and it's just oil, I wouldn't we shouldn't eat that.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wassalamu alaikum. So
Shalom.
to clarify, beef tallow supplements is no go, right?
No, he said that beef tallow is simply the oil that's left over after you burn all the fat away. The oil cools and becomes a solid.
Okay.
So that's fine if that's the case.
Okay. Yes. Shalom. Shalom.
I don't understand this. Okay, so you're saying that it's a solid. So
Yeah, the fatty cells, those are tissue. Fatty cells are solid.
because when I bought the beef tallow that was being sold here, it's white. And so are you saying that the
That's
solid
the
part
oil
is what
that
we
that's
can't
the
eat?
oil when it cools down, it turns white. It's an oil.
Okay, but isn't the oil the fat? That's what I don't
No,
understand.
no, the fat is cells in the oil. It has oil in there, but fatty tissue is cells. And once you cook it, you can burn all that fat away and just have the oil left over. I know
Shalom,
what you're thinking.
say.
You're
Okay.
you're thinking you're
First of all,
thinking like you're thinking like fat is an ice cube. And if you just melt the ice cube, you still have ice. It's just water now. But that's not what fat is. Fat is actually tissue combined with liquid, the oil, and you can burn all that tissue, fatty tissue away, and burn all that cells away, and just have the oil. And that when that oil cools, it will become a solid, and it'll turn white. That's what I understood your Nashe to be saying. Your Nashe would know better than me. I've never had beef tallow in my life, but if that's what it is, then it's not a problem. If it's not that, then it is a problem.
okay. Um, I don't quite I don't quite agree because I just feel like he's not saying, I mean, unless you're showing me something else deeper that he's saying that it has something to do with the tissue and not that it's the fat, then
I
I don't understand.
I can show you what fat is. It's not just oil. It's also tissue. Hold on.
You know, Mabane, I think there's a discrepancy of the mind between what is fat and what is fat. Okay, the fat oil and the fat cells of the animal.
Yeah.
Which the fat cells of the animal is a hard, rubbery kind of consistency bit of stuff. The oil that comes out of that is the stuff that you can use, and the rubbery substance that stays on the animal is on the meat is what you cannot use. You can't eat. I think that's the easiest way to kind of put it. So the tallow, which is absolutely liquid that comes out of the fat cells, it is not the actual fat cells themselves.
So this is what fat is, like what you just said. This is what fat is. These are tissues.
Yeah, fat
and
cells.
cells. Now, in between this fatty tissue, there's oil. But if you burn the fat and burn all this tissue away, and you just have the oil now, it's not, it's not fat anymore. But I think, yeah, when people look at fat,
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
oily. It's oily, but it's not when you burn all the fat away, there's just oil now, not fatty tissue. I
Okay.
wish I wish I
That
wish
that
fat were just oil. That would be easy to get rid of it because when you gain weight, that's not just oil in your body. That's tissue that you have to burn away to lose weight. If it were just oil, it'd be a lot easy to lose weight. It's not just oil, it's actual tissue.
screenshot it. Okay.
My bang. That's why I just eat at home.
Yeah, that's really the way you handle all this stuff. What do I eat? Don't eat out. Only eat at home. And only eat what we cook, what we make. That's what we're gonna be eventually. Anybody else?
I
Jonat?
see a hand up, Jonat or Jonathan, Jonathan, maybe.
Han, I have a quick question. So, I like to cook beef bacon, like beef BLTs and stuff at home. And I heard that like the little white strip in the middle of like the brown part of the beef bacon is fat, but I'm not sure if it is or not.
I have
Is
no idea.
that fat? And can we eat beef bacon?
I have no idea. I have to see what, an actual picture of it.
It's the one from Robinson's that comes in the blue, packaging.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen turkey bacon, and that's nothing but meat. Turkey bacon is amazing. There's no fat in that. But I don't know about beef bacon. Maybe beef bacon does have fat in it.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to send you a picture of it on Google or something. I gotta show you the brand that I typically buy.
Okay.
Okay. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, a very quick one. The beef
Yep.
bone marrow.
That's
Beef
not
bone.
blood or fat. I guess we can eat that if you want to.
Yeah. All right. Shalom.
Anybody else? Is it okay to eat the fat of an animal that we don't offer to Ya'oh? Well, since we can't eat the blood, even if it's an animal we don't offer to Ya'oh, that verse that says only fat or blood would seem to say that we should eat the fat, even if it is an animal that we're not offering to Ya'oh. What do you mean? All of you have had brisket? Every last one of you Negroes has had brisket except me? I don't think so.
Yeah, I done
I haven't
had
had brisket over here yet,
my whole
but I've
life.
had brisket.
Yeah, I've never had brisket before.
Thank you.
Brisket.
Yeah, I've never had it.
Yeah, but
Y'all have
it's
really
beef.
good brisket
a barbecue
sandwiches.
place? Yes, you
I done
Brisket
You came
is
to the
that's
Nache outing, and you would have had some brisket.
brisket is for bougie people with rich money. This is rich
have.
people food.
Nah.
Yeah. You
Listen, I
making
eat.
brisket, you got deep pockets. You must have deep pockets.
He called y'all
Eating brisket
bougie.
with like a pair of tweezers. I just I pick away at the fat.
If you're
After
from
rib.
Texas,
I
brisket
always
is
slice it
like
away.
if you're
Okay.
from Texas, brisket is like
Let
common
me
food.
tell you about barbecue sauce.
All right, so if you're from Texas, brisket is a poor man's food. Got it.
That's
Got it.
that's what I was gonna say. When I moved down to Texas, like they have like what is it? Not the Golden Corral. There's like a Cracker Barrel. That's like their main dish. It's not expensive at all down there because it's so common. But yeah, it's really good.
They have really good brisket sandwiches at Americano Grill, and there's no fat on the brisket there. I get them for Ya'oh all the time.
Okay, there you go. You can have your brisket without the fat. I grew up on peanut butter and jelly, cream of wheat, McDonald's,
Thank you.
Swanson frozen dinners. I had no damn brisket.
Pot
McDonald's, that's
pies.
horse.
Pot pies.
Popeyes, yeah. White
Oh,
Castle. I missed me some White Castle. Whoa. That's what I grew up on. I don't know damn brisket. Anybody else?
Oh, and sloppy joes.
And Sloppy Joe's. Yep, let's not forget Sloppy Joe's. And ketchup on everything. All right,
Yep.
if there's no more questions, do we have Wale Aaron here?
Yes, shalom. Shalom, Abe. Ya Baracha, Ya'oh, Vaya Shamarcha. Ya'oh, Panil Alecha, Vaya Kancha. Ya'oh, Panil Alecha, Vaya Sham Lacha. Shalom.
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 Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
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 Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom Allah.
Oh, Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's have
Shalom.
brisket.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom,
shalom, Lord.
Mashpachate.
Shabbat shalom. Have a great time.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, Master.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Master.
Shabbat shalom, Mashpachate.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Mashpekate.
Shabbat shalom.